from Sailor Picture Studios and YouTube.
Folks, don't let the limp-wristed, soy-based, stage 4 TDS-infested sissies on the internet hinder you from hearing whatever it is you want to hear from some of your favorite YouTubers, because YouTube be frontin'. They want to pick and choose which opinions and factual information they deem to be safe on this platform by randomly banning or deleting videos and shutting down channels like a communist-run media outlet. So here's what we're going to do to counter the butthurt. In case this channel gets deleted from YouTube, you can go to the other platforms to get info on my whereabouts, like Rumble, Odyssey, TikTok, and now I also have an account with X, formerly known as Twitter. So you can also go to my other YouTube channel called Sailor Pictures. Now this is a channel specifically dedicated to me displaying mostly my art stuff like video edits, art images of logos, and is also now the new home of my End Times cartoon series called 12. So I'll utilize each of these accounts to give brief updates in case anything happens to this main channel. So links to all of those channels are in the description below. And folks, please, no pressure, but feel free to subscribe to any or all of those accounts. I will see you in the stream. Peace!
Get ready. Get God.
Welcome to another exciting episode of And Why Not, the most intelligent white noise here on YouTube, where if you're doing chores around the house or need something to listen to while you are at work, this is the place to come to. In this live stream, I take full advantage of my First Amendment right, my freedom of thought and speech, so long as if I don't violate the extremely silly guidelines of this current platform. This is episode number 161. And today's date is July 6, 2025. Yeah, baby. I ain't lying. I'm telling the truth. That's the truth, baby. You gotta believe me. You got to believe me. Listen to me now. Believe me later. But listen, a little bit of house cleaning before we open up the room, which I am going to do right away, as promised on the side chat. So today's going to be just another basic open chat, but I do have a real brief topic that I would like to touch on real quick before we just open up the room and make an open season up in this piece. So real quick, for those of you who are actual fans of the cartoon, because people ask me all the time, hey, when is episode number 12 going to come out? Well, episode 12 is on the... Well, let me turn down the music a little bit. So, yeah, episode 12 is in the works, folks. And I am... Well, all I can say is that I'm getting close to having it completed, but there's still a little bit, a lot of work to do. You have to understand, folks. Okay, I understand that you're impatient because this is probably one of the most popular cartoons ever made in human history. I understand that, but you gotta be patient, guys. Okay, first of all, I'm a working man. Second of all, I'm a husband. Okay, thirdly, I am a father. And fourthly, I own a house. So I don't have a maid. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done around the house. And there's a lot of obligations and, stuff like that get in the way of, production sometimes. And sometimes like today, like right now, I just need a break. Sometimes you just get a little, I get that burnout kind of poking at me sometimes. And that's when my mind and my body tells me, okay, time to take a break from the cartoon because this is your baby. You don't want to be rushing through it. Okay, take a little breather and then you could come back to it. Let me ask you, so I'm going to get you guys' take on something real quick. For those of you who play video games, and man, I want to get back into video games so bad. You have no idea. Gosh, I'm feeling it, man. Y'all got to pray for me, man. I'm hurting, man. I like 5 games I haven't even touched in 5 years yet because I'm trying to finish this project, man. So once I'm done with this project, man, I'm cutting all you guys off. You ain't gonna hear from me for 5 months. And then if next time you see me on camera, I'm gonna be fat. I'm gonna look like, certain other people, in this community. So anyway, anyway. So we ain't saying no names, but anyway, yeah, the episode is on the way. All I can say is that I'm working on it. Every moment I get an opportunity or every moment I get the energy. Oh, back to my video game analogy. For those of you who play video games, right? You ever play a game and you're just cracking down on it, man? You're doing really, really good, right? You're spending hours on it. You get to a point where you just can't figure it out. Like some sort of puzzle or some sort of maze. And you spend a good, maybe 25 to 30 minutes trying to figure it out. You can't figure it out. What the heck's going on? Man, shouldn't be this hard. So, you then take a break, leave it alone. Yeah, and it could be anything, whether it's a puzzle or a boss that you're fighting. You just can't get past this one part of the game. You take a little break, you go do something else. And then maybe a few hours later, you go back to the save point that you were at, fighting the same boss, doing the same puzzle, and then all of a sudden it just seems so incredibly easy, like you never had a problem with it to begin with. And you're sitting there saying to yourself, now wait a minute, what did I do that was so different? Why did it take me hours to try to figure out how to beat this boss like 3 hours ago? I step away and I come back and I bam, 1, 2, 3, bam, I beat the guy with very little effort. And I think that's what it is. It's just sometimes our minds just need a break from whatever it is that we're fully focusing on, at that moment. We just need to take a break, take a breather, get something to drink, pray, go outside a little bit, touch some grass a little bit, spend some time with family, talk to people, and then come back and do what you were doing before. And then it's amazing how much smoother things seem to be. When previously it just seemed like you were never going to get over that obstacle. And so that's what I'm kind of sensing with the cartoon. I don't want to get to that point where I feel like it's just crazy. So anyway, I don't want to do that with this cartoon. This is the final episode, and I know there's a lot of imperfections that people are probably going to notice. I've noticed a lot already, and trust me, I would like to go back and redo them, man. But listen, man, it's going on 6 years with this one episode, man. I'm ready to just to shut it down, man. But I'm not going to rush it though either. So I'm ready to shut it down. And again, I'm the only person working on it, like literally the only person working on it. So, any type of criticism, I will accept it. But can you soften it a little bit? No, just kidding, bro. So I will definitely keep you guys posted for the streaming of the premiere. I'm still considering on whether or not I want to show this on the big screen. I would love to see it on the big screen, but again, as I mentioned before, I think it'd be a waste of money for me to have it on the big screen with a bunch of people who are only going to be there for spiritual and emotional support, but are not actual fans of the series. So if you are a true fan of the series, that event would be for people like you. And again, I'm not offended that people are not fans of my cartoon, that they don't follow stuff. I'm happy that people are willing to just support me emotionally. I'm happy with that too. But to me, it's just a waste of money. $300 for one night, have all this food and stuff like that for people to come in, and they don't even know who the characters are. They don't know what happened prior to the one thing that they're watching. So I'm gonna have to ask people to do their homework before they come watch the episode and stuff like. No, I don't want to go through that. So I've kind of made my decision that I'm leaning more towards not doing the actual physical, theatrical release, and just sticking with the good old fashioned YouTube stream premiere stuff like that. And then after that, maybe I'll open up the room for Q&A, criticism, talk. Maybe we could talk a little bit about the beloveds and the Anoints. Maybe they have some connection. Real quick before I move on to my next segment. Somebody asked me a while back. They said, "Hey Vecco, maybe you should do a little scene where you should put some free gracers in the episode." And then I said, "Actually, I already put free gracers in the episode." And then he said, "Oh, where? I didn't see it." I said, "They're the ones that took the mark of the beast." Oh, so anyway, so. Just a little joke there. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, so without further ado, let me just do a couple of quick shout outs on the side chat. All right, get this off the screen here. And we're going to say hello to everybody who is commenting or has left a comment on the side chat. So I think one of the first people to show up was Brett. Brett, you are 100% accurate in referring to me as handsome. Okay, I really, really appreciate that. I just need you to somehow, in some way, shape, or form, find a way to convince my wife of that label that I deserve. Anyway, who else we got here on the side chat? Okay, we got Miss Smokey. What's happening? See, she just made a recent trip to California, and she's nice and safe, so we appreciate that. And congratulations again on your union with Mr. Smokey, and may God bless you guys tremendously and overwhelmingly with a blessed marriage, and bless you with a quiver full of children, if that be His will. All right, and who else we got here? We got Brother Ryan's in the house. What's happening, baby? Bruce, as usual, stayed gone for no longer than 5 seconds. How are you all this evening? Yeah, we're doing great. And we got Saint Gotham. See, now Saint Gotham, you're one of the people I actually think of when I talk about actual fans of the cartoon, because you're one of the people who's always asking me about the next episode. So I really, really appreciate your words of encouragement and patience as well, man. So I appreciate that. So trust me, man, you'll be one of the first people I'll be thinking of when the episode is near to release. So who else we got? We got Jamie Russell. Jamie, you got some spleen in the door. I heard what you said. About us that believe in ECT, Eternal Conscious Torment. So you got some spleen in the door. Okay. See, Smokey says Vekel has been black since 20. Yeah. Some people actually say that. Some people would actually might actually assert that. Ever since that blast that Trump came down those golden escalators, he ruined my life. And took my black card. But anyway, we'll talk about that maybe later on tonight's stream or another time in the future. We got Ben. Ben's in the house. What's going on, baby? What's happening? Love you, baby. I was taking a peek at the Beloved's stream earlier today. They're talking once again, whining and complaining about the Smokes and the Ryans and everyone else that frequents channels like this. And he named the channel after you, talking about you again, as we've constantly see done all the time. It's almost to the point where talking about Smokey, Ryan, and Dave, and Vekel, and Ben, that's almost equivalent to the importance of the gospel to these guys, man, because they just cannot keep our names out of their mouths. My goodness. No wonder their streams are so short. But anyway, Ben, screw those guys. You're always welcome here, man. I love you to death, man. Listen, we've bumped heads before in the past, regarding my soteriology, your soteriology. But man, I see in you a real sincerity. And you, just like the rest of us, are flawed. And this is one of the essence. This is the essence of the importance of a church body, is to encourage one another. Spice it up with a little bit of admonition there too. But admonition doesn't mean hatred. Okay, doesn't mean a propaganda for hatred towards someone. It just means biblical correction. That's all. Okay. And so whatever, man. So we love you, Ben. We love you. That's all I got to say, man. So I appreciate you, man. Ryan says, my offer to debate you, Jamie, on the Nestorianism or your recent claims that all ECT believers worship a false. Yeah, Jamie, you got some splaining to do. Okay, who else we got here? Janet Duttridge. Everybody, take it to the hills. What's going on? All right, Janet, get down. Janet. Now, Janet, I love playing with these sounds. I know, I'm a child. But Janet, we love you, man. Ma'am, I want to get your pronouns right. We love you. We see all that sugar smack talk about you over there in the land of the beloveds. But we love you over here. So you're always welcome here. And Janet doesn't agree with my soteriology, but you know what? She's polite to me. She gives me words of encouragement. And I appreciate it. Same thing with Smokey. Smokey and I are kind of like those kind of like brothers is always bumping heads with each other. We argue and yell at each other, but then at the end of the day, it's all good, man. And I think all Christians ought to be like that, man. Sometimes we're just going to bump heads. We're going to fight. We're going to raise our voices at each other, and maybe in person we wrestle and stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's a Ephesians 4:26 type of thing where we just like not let the sun go down in our wrath. And you say, all right, man, I'll talk to you later, man. All right, peace, man. Love you. Right, get out of my face. Bye-bye. And then we go on our merry way. It's rather unfortunate that some people in this community, it's rather unfortunate that some people in this community cannot have that type of relationship with the rest of us. So I don't know, because the rest of us are doomed to hell because we don't say the words free grace in a certain way, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there's too many syllables for those of us who disagree. I don't know what's going on. Brett says, Vekel, you should play Elder Scrolls Online with me. Looks great and fun. Dude, I'm afraid to play any online games because I have an addictive personality. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Some of these games that I haven't even touched in 5 years, I'm scared that I'm looking at possible divorce bait here. So this is why I never got onto games like WoW, like World of Warcraft, or any game that just never ends and it just keeps getting updates and packages or whatever you call it. Those games I stay away from because I know I will never, ever get off of those games. I'll get fat. Okay. My health will decline. Okay, my marriage will be on the rocks. I'll be constantly arguing about having to take the trash out all the time. I know me, man. So I gotta stand clear of stuff like that. But again, I'm not saying that those who have this lifestyle are a bunch of losers and not saved or anything like that. I'm just saying, for me personally, this is where God has put me. These are the cards that I've been dealt. So I'm trying to be a responsible person, and just say, hey, put a certain set of limits for myself. So that's why I choose to get games that are really, really super fun, but have an end. And then if the Lord wills, I go back and play them again later on, which I want to do so bad right now. I got Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Solid 6, Snake Eater. I got the latest Metal Gear Solid that came out for the PS5. My goodness, oh, what a great game that is. It's an old game, but it's an awesome game. And I just recently downloaded Steam. Oh, man, whole ton of games there that I want to play. So bad, man. You guys got to pray for me. I ain't playing, man. I ain't playing. It's not a game, man. It's not a game. Y'all got to pray for me. Y'all over there laughing. Brad, I see you over there laughing. Brad, you need to stop that laughing. Stop making fun of me. Stop making fun of me, Brad. I don't appreciate that. Yeah, anyway. All right, here we go. So we got everybody else. Let's go on ahead. And I think I'm going to open up the room right now. But again, first, my priority right now for this stream is to first cover this what do you call it? This posting from Brett, because I think it's kind of relevant to let me get rid of the overlay here. I think it's relevant to what's going on in this community today and stuff like that. So again, many of you that are listening to me right now, some of you have been accused of being an enabler or an endorser of this behavior or that behavior because of certain individuals that we even talk to, let alone, we don't even have to agree with everything that they believe. Just being in their presence equals fellowship, sincere corporate fellowship. We're worshiping the Christ. We're dropping the one true God and worshiping the false God. Why? Because we just happened to make an appearance in somebody's stream, or we gave somebody a wrench. Okay. So if for example, you guys know about my stream maybe a month or two ago. All hell broke loose the moment I gave Smokey Saint a wrench. And then next thing you know, I'm a pedophile enabler. I'm a pedophile endorser. We had that one guy, Jared, not Jared SOC, but the other Jared TK. We had Mac and Cheese at one point, and also that guy opening the scroll, aka James. Those guys were, sending me private messages on Discord. Just trying to dismantle me, saying, yeah, bro, I can't hang out with you no more, blah, blah, blah. Next thing I was being ridiculed by some of these guys, all because I gave Smokey a wrench. That's it. You don't even have to hear me say, oh yeah, I love touching children. You don't even have to hear me say, oh yeah, I believe you could lose your salvation, or anything of those things, anything of that sort. Just by me giving somebody a wrench cause people to raise question about my salvific status. Isn't that amazing? And he's coming from these self-righteous, man, I wish I could think of some other adjectives for some of these individuals, man, because they actually deserve it, man. They're bunch. Number one thing for certain, man, we know that we can definitely label some of these individuals as hypocrites, man. And maybe today, with you guys' help, you guys who want to come in and you're bored out of your minds, maybe you guys could come in and have a little bit of fun today on this Sunday evening. You're bored, you have nothing else better to do, or you got something you want to get off your chest. Maybe you could come in, and maybe one of the things that you want to talk about is the hypocrisy coming from some of these dummies. So, but anyway, before we get to that part, let's go on ahead and focus on this posting from Brett. I'm going to post the link right now with hopes that Brett will be one of the first to come in. Guys, excuse the noise that's in the background. That is my daughter watching some wacky videos again. So, but don't you fret. She is right next to me. I can see what she's watching. I can hear what she's listening to. So my parenting skills are on point. So anyway, there is the link. The link is posted. Come on in, folks. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
If you dare. Welcome, brats. You know this by being here. You just officially have lost your salvation by entering this room, right?
According to most, that happened long ago.
All right, you sound like you're far away from the mic. That's okay.
You're absolutely correct. I gotta move my mic over to me.
That's good. That's good. I'll give you some time. We got Erica. Now, Erica, you got the ER at the end of your name. Is that how you really pronounce your name, or are you making fun of a certain somebody in the community? Oh. Anyway.
Can you hear me better now, Vec?
Ah, yes. Crispy and clean. Yeah, man. Okay, so since you're the one who wrote this post, I just want to say the reason why I'm sharing this post is because I so agree with this. This is so relevant to what I was just talking about a few minutes ago about me being condemned and having my salvific status questioned because I gave somebody a wrench on my side chat, or because I've pop up into the room seeking, decent conversation with somebody. Whereas opposed to other locations where I'm blocked, I'm perma-banned. I can't talk to anybody. I can't say what I want without the fear of walking on eggshells in those other environments. So at least I can talk to guys like Smokey or Dave. At least we can come to moments where I can raise my voice. They can raise their voice at me. Things can get a little heated and passionate every once in a while. And yet we part ways on a positive note. So at least we have that. But we don't have that with these other, hold on. I'm ranting. Sorry about that, Brett. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. I fully agree. And what's really sad is I've been around so long, I can tell you hundreds of times where I've seen where people had these attitudes where, oh, if you hang with this person, you're a dick and you don't get to hang with me. And then a year later or some time goes by and everybody becomes buddies again. And you can't ever keep up with the culture on it. You can't. You can't keep up with the trends. So it's best just for us to be who we are and enjoy life as it is.
Right. Amen to that. Amen to that. So anyway, with that said, either you can read. Would you like reading this post just in case we have people who might be listening but can't look at the screen right now for whatever reason?
I won't be able to because I enjoy your voice. I specifically came here to hear your awesome radio voice.
Ah, man. Well, I know one guy's got a way better. Actually, you have an awesome radio voice. So, and I think Smokey has an awesome radio presence. But I think the best radio voice, in my opinion, is probably that guy EXO. He's a little on the weird side, but he does have a good radio presence and voice.
I've been told I've got a nice face for radio too.
Yeah, my wife. yeah, my wife seems to think the same for me too. Anyway. So let me just go on ahead and read this post here. So I'm gonna read it from the outside. It says, people ask me why I'm cool with Kent Hovind and YouTubers like Smokey and Miss Smokey, also Ryan. Here's my reasoning, and you're welcome to refute me if you feel you must. I won't take it personally. Read below. Number one, keep in mind the president I voted for every time has been accused of everything, and because I voted him, this makes me a Nazi according to some of you. Hold on, somebody just popped in. Welcome, Ryan. Welcome to the room.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are either of you?
We're doing good. I'm going to continue reading on this post here from Brett. So anyway, he says, number two, there was a Jewish guy 2,000 years ago who was crucified and did nothing wrong. Turned out he is God, so death didn't stick. Number three, the users who attack Smokey are known to use various AI software to create videos of YouTubers saying and doing things they never actually did. We all know this is a fact. Yep. Number four, but TTOR 13, who is your good friend. Oh, so he's quoting people. But TTOR, who is your good friend, believes Smokey and Kent Hovind are filthy. TTOR is the kind of friend who can love you even if he disagrees with you. It's called being a Christian. Hello. Number 5. But Brad, TTOR debated Smokey and Smokey looked beaten. Well, first off, it wasn't a debate. TTR used what he thought was truthful information when he questioned Smokey. I personally saw the show as questioning one's character, not an actual debate. However, TTOR does believe the info on Smokey is still correct. Number 6. But Brad, Smokey said mean things about you. Well, how can you say all this? People say crap about me daily. Doesn't mean I'm going to frame and destroy someone's life unless threatened. Number 7. But Ken Hovind is friends with bad people who did bad stuff. And Ken Hovind is great at evolution. But when it comes to friends, he has a habit, as does Donald Trump, of thinking everyone is his buddy until they're not. Sadly, Kent depends on crappy people to work his internet and tech. Without them, he wouldn't know how to turn on a PC. Not a justification, just a fact. Number 8. If I and all these other users did half the crap we're accused of, we would be on death row right now, not babbling on YouTube live streams. So unless I'm given hard evidence, I will remain friendly and neutral. Uh-oh. Naughty, naughty, Brett. Naughty, naughty. Number 9. Well, what about Miss Smokey? She says some mean things. Now, she was defending her man. I would be disappointed if she didn't. Wives are supposed to be loyal. Oh, there you go. Number 10. Guys like Veckel and I. Oh, wait, that's not. Okay. Guys like Veckel and I are adults. We go where we please unless you offer to pay our bills. My PayPal link is in my description. Cash App included. All right. And number 11. Finally, number 11. Mean things were said about kids. Sure. For 20 years, Christians and atheists took a dump on my entire family. I don't recall getting any mercy or a Christmas card from any of you. Do like I do. Don't talk about things that can later hurt you. This is the internet, not a group therapy session. Okay, then below, for those of you who are not looking on your screens, it's got a picture of Trump, and it says, it's got the words here. I still don't understand how the man who had never served in public office before being elected president is blamed for all of America's problems by people who have been in Congress since the 1970s. Yeah, amen to that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brett's post. How long did? Yeah, according to this, you posted it 35 minutes ago. And Brett, any comment real quick? Anybody have any comments?
Well, you get people who are, you know how it is, Feckle, where people be all over you, and I figured I'd nip that in the butt and just go ahead and put it out there, my views on it. And as you can see right at the very top, I said, if anybody thinks I'm wrong, have at it. Go ahead, try to refute me.
This goes back to, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I see my spastic card is worth less than your black card. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I largely agree with Brett because I'm at the point now where I pretty much feel the same way. I've been dealing with this crap from certain people on YouTube for nearly a decade, others longer. And I don't see people lining up to pay my bills. I don't see people lining up to tell, say, oh, your StreamYard subscription is paid for. I don't even have one. So I really don't care. I'm a grown man. I pay all my own bills. I work for a living. And why should I care about something like that? Well, Smokey's I'm not part of the Cone Club. Go. Why is this my problem? I like going to Smokey's panel. Why can't I go to Smokey's panel?
Right. And again, it brings me back to issues like I talked about this a few streams back about the word fellowship. We got the guy Tucker 1611. To me, he seems sincere, or maybe I'm just fooled by it. But I mean, he is so wrong on a lot of things. And one of them is this issue of the word debate and also the issue of the word fellowship. Well, at least I would disagree with this definition of fellowship. But he's definitely wrong on the issue of the word debate. And this is what you would get from the King James onlyists there, because that's the only translation that they go to. and they see that the word debate is spoken in a negative fashion. But these are also the same people who refuse to look up these words in the Greek to see what the actual word means. And so they just stuck in their ways, and they go around debating people, telling people that it's wrong to debate. It's amazing how these people say it's wrong to debate, but yet they're going around debating it on whether or not they should be debating. So, and the same thing with the word fellowship. If I go to Praise's channel tonight, let's say, and he's opening up a room for people to challenge his views, that's me going over there to have a discussion on our differences or to challenge his beliefs. That's not me fellowshipping with the guy. Okay, let's say it starts off with me going over there to challenge him, and then an hour later, I just choose to stick around and just hang out and talk. Is that fellowship? Well, I don't call that fellowship. I call that hanging out, because that's exactly what I would do with an atheist or another non-believer. I see them in a coffee shop, they're talking about things, and I like what they're talking about. I want to be a part of this conversation. Is that fellowship in a corporate biblical sense? No. But go ahead.
No. Yeah. Let's also face it that people make it out like it's bad to fellowship with people. Christ tells us to make friends with the mammon of this world. That ostensibly means Jesus commands me to make friends, fellowship with people who diametrically disagree with my worldview. That means making friends with people who may or may not believe in Jesus Christ at all. Does that mean I'm guilty for fellowshipping with them? Well, according to Jesus, no. I don't understand all this King James only narrow-mindedness that, how dare you fellowship with this person? And again, you can tell these people this all the time, but they don't get it. Debate in Romans 1 in the King James Version in 1611 meant strife.
That's right.
It meant quarrelsome. It meant strife. It has nothing to do with academic discussions of divergent points.
Exactly.
My view is that I know that a lot of these people who are in opposition, they see it as a religious issue. Me, I see it as middle school. Oh, you want to play with that person in the sandbox? Well, you don't get to be around me. You're gross. That's how I see it. I don't see it as just a religious issue. I just see it as a bunch of dumbasses who want to manipulate and control, and that's it.
That's exactly what I see. And it seems like it is some sort of religion to these guys. I mean, you like I don't care. I'm gonna just call his name out. I'm not gonna be subliminal about it. Bill, Bill of G&G Streaming. This is the first guy that comes to my mind when I think about this type of attitude, of this cultic, tribalistic attitude, because he makes it so he just puts it out there about this list that he's going to put out there. He's talking about which people's going to be perma-banned on his channel, and I know I'm one of them because I tried to leave a comment on the side chat earlier in the stream today, and obviously, what do you know, it didn't pop up, so that's fine, and for what reason? Have I falsely accused the guy? No, he's just mad because I hang out with certain people, Ryan included, and Smokey, or maybe Ben, makes an appearance in some of my streams every once in a while, or I make an appearance in other people's streams. It's just so childish. It's I don't deny any of the.
It's very cult.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say quickly, it's very cult-like.
Yeah.
You disagree with him, and you're going straight to hell, because like I have on my channel, Bill Cuthbert thinks he is the church, and he associates with people like the dude who share his opinions that if you're not a free gracer, you're a devil, or I am the grace of God. Ick. I can throw you into hell.
I myself, I've had very little interaction with the Bill character, but I did find it kind of telling, if that would be the right word to say it. This guy never tried to talk to me any other time, but me and Smokey had a back and forth about the whole Malthuism thing that I fell into a long time ago. There was a bit of argument and disagreement. So immediately upon that, when Bill sees that me and him had a falling out in that moment, he comes to me. All of a sudden, he's interested in Brett Keane. He wants to have Brett Keane on his show and shit. Well, I get over there and I'm like, okay, what do you need there, sir? I didn't know who he was. Like, give me a link for it. What do you want? And he goes into all this stuff, and two things already right off the bat. He wanted to talk about Smokey for almost 2 hours. I was getting bored in the first 15. Then the second problem is I couldn't make out 90% of what he's saying.
Because of his hard accent.
I'm heavy. Yeah, some of you out there, you're like fucking translators or something. Me, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Brett, I'm right there with you. I got to be honest with you. That's probably one of the reasons why he and I have so much beef is because of my misunderstanding of what he's actually saying.
Well, the other thing is no British person speaks the way Bill does because it's a bastardized, drunk amalgamation of contemporary English and his interpretation of Elizabethan English. Pray twixt, beloved, nobody talks like that.
Well, I just couldn't make him out. 90% of it. He had another YouTuber there, and then I think Thick Shades ended up coming in. The usual group comes in, and they're just wanting to talk about that the whole time. And I said, look, Smokey's pissed off at me about a monotheism, a theological position, and I have no issue arguing with him about it. But I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours and listen to a bunch of, hate this, hate that, don't like him, blah, blah, blah. That's your fucking problem, not mine. And boy, they seem to get annoyed with me on that. They seem like they really wanted to get me over on, I guess, what they consider their team.
Miss Smokey says it's called Smokey Derangement Syndrome. I kind of like that.
SDS, sir.
Yeah, SDS. That's right. Maybe we should call that. Well, we definitely you're probably going to hear a little bit of that used a little bit in the community. In the coming days, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, no, I like it because I've watched people who can have normal conversations, and then the first syllable of Smokey is uttered, they turn into these rabid wild beasts. What the hell is this?
Yeah, Ben said all I said was I don't like his BIM/Jabnet videos because Stefan and Jadnik come to my channel. See, there it is again. See, I don't, Ben kind of speaks his mind, and no matter who you are, if he sees that you're saying something or doing something that he believes to be unbiblical, he's gonna address you with it, right? Ben has had run-ins with everyone, including myself, including Dave, including Smokey, you, okay, and sometimes with Bob, and sometimes with, with everyone, okay. But here we are. I don't have any ongoing beef with Ben. But apparently, Ben is allowing certain individuals in his room, and this guy is a child of Satan because of it. Like, that's a cult. That's a cult-like mentality, man. And that tells me, once again, I've said this out loud. I'll say it again here. A person who has this type of mindset about this tribalistic mindset, they are not concerned about individuals getting the truth out of the Word of God. They're only concerned about an allegiance to themselves. That's what they care about. And this reminds me, I want to read this verse real quick. These few passages here. Luke chapter 5, starting at verse 27. This is Jesus hanging out with a couple of people who are doing a couple of noise. And maybe they're not the noise, at least not yet. And it's Luke chapter 5, verse 27. It says, and after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of the custom. And then he said, follow me. And he left all, rose up and followed him. And Levi, verse 29, Levi made him a great feast in his own house. And there was a great company of publicans and of others that sat down with him. Publicans, for those of you who don't know, it's tax collectors, basically. Verse 30, but their scribes and Pharisees murmured against his disciples, saying, why do you eat and drink with publicans and sinners? Verse 31, and Jesus answering said unto them, they that are whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. And finally, verse 32, I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Let me stop right there. Let me ask you guys a question. When Jesus said these exact words to the scribes and Pharisees, did he pull them aside and say this in private and whisper this to them? Or did he say this out loud in front of everyone? What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
Oh, Veckel, we have to have a secret emergency hanger anoint so I can privately condemn you to hell and then record everything you're saying.
Right. What do you think, Brett? Do you think do you come away with this passage, Jesus pulling these guys aside and then say, yeah, hey, let me holler at you for a minute. Yeah, these guys I'm hanging out with, I'm not really done with them, I'm just here to kind of save them. Or is he saying this out loud in front of them and they can hear him? What do you think?
I believe that Jesus perceives humanity as his children. And no matter how a child acts, a parent who truly loves their kids, they're going to try to do the best they can to help out the ones that are definitely really in need of attention, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So in other words, you're saying that he's not pulling the scribes and Pharisees aside to say verse 32 to them. He's saying this in front of the people he's hanging out with, right? Do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he came for. He came in order to save people, not to say, oh,
Right.
you don't agree with me, buddy? Well, you go away so I can eat my gray poupon,
Hold on real
Well,
quick.
if you notice verse 30.
Real quick. Isaac's in the house.
Go ahead.
Just want to recognize Isaac. Isaac, what's going on? It's good to see you. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you notice verse 32, Jesus ends that thought saying, I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. What's the very next words out of his mouth? And they said unto him, why do the disciples of John fast and make prayers? And he's calling on them to publicly repent. And of course, if we follow how cultists think, oh, beloved, you said something I don't like. I'm now going to, for 17 years, slander you as a potato. And I'm going to make 1 billion videos or a doxing annoyance against you. How dare you say, though, the things I do, beloved?
Yeah, I like that last hiccup thrown in there. That's pretty good. Yeah. So, but the point of me pointing this out too is that when Jesus hung out with these individuals who are not living right, okay, he wasn't hanging out with them just because he wanted to be popular. He wanted to be down with the people and stuff like that. No, he had a specific purpose for hanging out with these individuals. Okay. Now, what does that mean for those of us who profess to be of Christ, but we have different beliefs and stuff like that? I wouldn't put us in this category here, the sinners and saints stuff category here. However, we have our own convictions regarding which way we interpret the scriptures. And, in hopes that, Ryan, let's say, Ryan, that I would convince you to believe, agree with me or vice versa, whatever. But either way, I think the majority of us who are outside of the anoints, we enjoy each other's company. We love talking about theology. We love talking about God, whether it's just, giving praise to God or if it's just sharing disagreements on how we interpret certain places of scripture. See, again, this goes back let me just wrap it up. This goes right back to why I thank Dave and Smokey and other people for making a public forum where people don't have to worry about walking on eggshells when they enter into those environments, as opposed to these other platforms where if you just hiccup the wrong way, you're excommunicated. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, there's another important point, and I'm so glad you said that, by the way. You affirm the Catholic faith. Although I may disagree with certain expressions you make, I can confidently say that I've watched you now for nearly a couple of decades, Veckel, and I don't think you have deviated from the essential teachings which compromise Christianity. I cannot say that about these free grace heretics. I also can say that I have not watched you just vacillate or change your mind on the essential doctrines of Christianity. The hate cult's best option for me, and I guess broader, is that, well, you've changed your denomination. Yeah, I've never changed being a Christian. I'm not making statements that contradict Christianity. I never really have done that. even if I've held to a divergent opinion or perhaps something I would now consider to be incorrect, I understand that the bond that we share is through the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ and not fear or adherence to a man.
Right, which seems to be, unfortunately, the situation with some of these people in the free grace, on the free grace side of things, So, and a little bit of hypocrisy too, if I might add, because, for example, take Andy, we got Bill, who seems to be the taskmaster of everyone's, status in the free grace arena. If you're going over to this person, then I can't talk to you. You're no longer a part of the Noites. But yet here we see Andy, for example, going back and forth, and just kind of acting like a turncoat, whatever. And yet he's not excommunicated from, Bill's circles or anything like that. So I don't know what that means, but other than hypocrisy, I don't know. But anyway.
I think it's have you ever heard of a concept called the God complex?
I think so, yeah.
Where a religious person gets so into what they're doing, unfortunately, it's almost like a breakdown where they start imagining that they somehow have some kind of special attribute to God, almost as if they themselves are God and take upon the personality, where if you disagree with me, then you are disagreeing with God. And that's a no. That kind of attitude.
Yeah, that's exactly those guys' perspective. Yeah, you're right.
Bill Cuthbert thinks he is the church. Bill and Dude will say, if you're a free gracer and if you disagree with free grace, you're a devil. Siki used to say, yes. Siki used to say, I am a god. I am a god. Oh, well, I see the problem now.
Well,
anyway, Todd.
Complex.
Todd's in the house. What's going on, Todd? Good to see you. Good to see you. I wonder if Jamie's still watching right now, because Jamie, you got some splaining to do. We need to talk about some stuff. And we got, where did I see it? I saw Christian Carpenter. Christian Carpenter, what's going on? Christian Carpenter, yeah. Hey, don't tap me. Don't tap me. What the hell? Docs. Okay, so any second now, Bruce should be coming in.
Oh, no. Really? Yeah. Is that actually going to happen?
Most of the time it doesn't, but it's just a joke, because every time Bruce comes in there, he's always whining and complaining about something being done to him, yet he totally disregards the bad stuff and the lies that he perpetrates out there about other people. So it's always pulling up the victim
or
card.
The fact that he does evil things with teddy bears and wooden clogs.
Yeah, we got video footage of Bruce practicing pedophilia, so in case you guys are ever really interested in digging, pedophilia. Yeah, that's right. Your Bruce is a 100% registered pedophile. So, and he was old enough when it happened. So anyway, I don't have any other specific topics to talk about, so we could talk about anything you want. It is a work night for me, so I probably won't stay up too late. But who knows? You know how these things happen. People bring up some interesting topics, and then next, oh snap! It's like 1:30 in the morning. I got to get to bed. I'm gonna be hurting tomorrow. So, but anyway, let me get this off the screen. Well, actually, no, I'll keep that up there.
Well, I hope Jamie comes in, because I would like to engage with Jamie. He has doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on this statement that eternal conscious torment believers worship an evil God. But it's funny because he will not then take the logical step. If we believe in an evil God, this transitively makes us evil.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, why is it that, well, just a second. Why is it that the majority of Christians who do believe in eternal conscious torment, both historically and contemporaneously, serve an evil God, but we're not evil?
Yeah, and he's going to have to also explain, because now he's taking on the position of an atheist.
Basically,
when he's arguing that way. He's going to have to now go to some sort of objective means to determine upon what basis would God be in error or moral error by sending people to hell for eternity, and he doesn't have a way to justify that. He doesn't have a way to justify that bit of reasoning from it outside of his subjectivity.
Can I ask you both interesting questions that you said you guys were open up for discussion?
Sure.
Now, when it says that God is going to be separate from the person who's going to be thrown in the lake of fire, do you believe that it's separated in such a way where God doesn't even know that they exist anymore? Kind of like what Christ said, get away from me, I never knew you.
No, because in the 139th Psalm, the psalmist says, if he makes his bed in Sheol, in the unseen place in hell, God is there.
So when it uses words like separation, just to hear how you guys perceive that, what do you think it means?
I would perceive it to mean alienation from God. It's not that God does not know that they exist. He very much does know that they exist, because they have refused the righteousness of Christ all their lives and died in that state. They are alienated from God and thus get their just reward in the punishment that they receive. A punishment that 2 Thessalonians describes very well, or St. Jude.
You guys are probably familiar with the verse where Jesus says, don't fear he which can destroy the body, but he also who can destroy the soul. Do you believe that souls can be destroyed?
I think it's talking about the suke or the psyche there. I'd have to check though, but I'm not one who would believe in the annihilationist doctrines like, say, the Jehovah's Witnesses or the Anabaptists or the SDAs.
Well, I hope it doesn't bother anybody. Veckel's always been open with me and willing to question me if I come up with something weird that he doesn't agree with. But I do have a lot of views towards annihilationism, but I'm of none of those theological religions that you speak of.
Well, but there again, I don't fight on this issue for a simple reason. Annihilationism is a minority position that's existed since about the 4th century AD. I don't think it's right. Most Christians have not believed in it. I don't elevate it to a level of heresy. I simply think it is inconsistent with the scriptures.
Right. That's exactly my position. Yep.
Do you believe that a person can suffer enough trauma to the point where they would lose their identity and their psyche?
You mean like have some sort of amnesia and forget who they are?
No. Can a person be in so much pain or hurt so badly that it gets to the point where they don't even know who they are anymore? It's like they break inside.
That's an interesting question. I want to get you guys, Ryan, I want to get your take on this too. I heard of this one pastor who actually had a stroke. And then when he came out of the hospital, he came to, he had amnesia, suffered a great deal of amnesia. He didn't remember he was married. He didn't remember his family members. He didn't remember he was a pastor. So, I wonder, my position is that if he sincerely believed in Jesus Christ prior to that moment, then he's still saved. He's still identified as one of God's elect in the eyes of God. However, from the temporal side of things, what if this guy ended up becoming asserting that no God exists after his after him coming out of the hospital? So that would be interesting.
I'd simply emphasize that God is unimaginably merciful, more so than we are able to comprehend. That does not mean he is unconditionally or he is infinitely merciful. That's a major misconception. Nowhere does the Bible say those things. But I would not be so quick to say that God is going to abandon one of his sheep because they experience some kind of mental deficiency or some sort of mental illness, at least temporarily.
Right. And kind of going back to your point, Brett, I think since God knows all things, he sees all things before they occur. obviously he's going to make a way for them to address these type of things so that it won't be unbearable for them, according to what we see in 1 Corinthians 10. I gotta step away for a second, guys. I'm being summoned by the child. Be right back.
All right. It's fair enough. And I hope you realize by talking to me enough times, Ryan, that you realize that I still consider myself a work in progress, a student as opposed to a teacher. I know that some people think that I'm a lot more clever on this, but I continue to research and continue to study and try to enhance my servitude and my walk with Christ and all that. And I'm willing to admit that there are things that I could possibly be wrong about. And I'm always open-minded to hear other people's views on it.
Well, I appreciate that. I suppose that may answer the question that I've had, because the last interactions I remember having with you in any substantial way on panels was when you were still in a Maltheist phase. So I'm assuming you're no longer a Maltheist based on what you've been saying in various live streams, including my own or at Smokey's. But I understand that, and I can appreciate taking the viewpoint that you are a perpetual disciple or student. We should all be humble enough to admit that we have things to learn and certainly do not know everything.
The Maltheism thing, unfortunately, I had fallen into one of the oldest tricks in the book, which is the problem of evil that has been debated and discussed and torn up for thousands of years. So I started looking around and I tried to talk to other Christians, but when I brought it up, and then some of them didn't even know what it was and I had to explain it, they immediately became very nasty. And instead of trying to explain to me why it may be wrong, there was an attitude. But I think that if people would have worked with me and explained something different sooner, I would have got out of that pretty quickly. It would have been more like a phase. It took about 6 months, and then I got some people in private. We talked, and they were a lot more open-minded and decent, and they explained to me some better ways to look at it. And I came to the realization that this is wrong. I don't think that God is actually committing any form of evil.
Well, praise God. That was, I believe, if I'm right, what I remember stating to you, that God is an overwhelmingly good God. God is described as the good God, the kind God in Scripture. So, Maltheism, well, I'll argue it like this. If you are an atheist, especially a militant atheist, then you should essentially admit you are a Maltheist, because essentially that is their position. But you know how they are. They'll vacillate on the subject quite a bit of, well, you know, I'm not saying there is a higher power, but if there is a higher power, and then they essentially describe exactly what they think that higher power is.
Right. And unfortunately, and I was very honest about this, but apparently some people didn't hear it. One of the reasons why I fell into it and evil became such a priority to discuss, or what I was thinking about, is I at that point in my life, I had lost somebody I really cared about to suicide, and it was really bothering me. So I got into that, and I've also lost relatives, unfortunately, due to self-harm. I'm sorry to hear about that, Ryan. But that's the reason I fell in the pothole. I was confused. I was trying to make sense to myself and understand. I wanted to continue to believe in God, but I couldn't make sense of what was happening in the moment. I wish people would have been more humble and tried to work with me at that point, but maybe it was best that I sat there like that for 6 months before running into people who were actually ready to work with me. Well, God in His providence, I suppose, was merciful to you, Brett, and did rescue you out of that, so thank God for that. Unfortunately, I had to give the disclaimer that YouTube Christianity often does not represent Christians, and what I have learned over the years is that people who could never attend a church, or who do attend a church but are completely duplicitous with their clergy about what they really say, do, and believe, will take up shop on YouTube. And unfortunately, they can get a following, or they can get into an echo chamber where they have only the identical beliefs that they like already predisposed to them, so therefore they are never challenged by other beliefs. And the moment that, say, a Maltheist comes along and says,
that position, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And I realized even at the time that the Malthyism was a very minority type of thought process.
Oh, yeah.
Been around for a while, but it wasn't something that a lot of Christians were used to. So I took that into mind, but I was also dealing with the emotional feeling of what happens to my this person I cared about now. What does God have?
Right.
for
I understand.
All right, I'm back.
Well, I totally understand that, Brett, because I had a cousin who unfortunately self-harmed, and that was tough. I'm not going to go into great details about it, but I've talked about it before. He got in his truck and he never got out. Unfortunately, he had a lot of mental health problems that we later learned about. So I can understand that. I can also understand the perspective of losing someone like that in your family and where it can put you. This, of course, though, is where we shouldn't throw reason completely out of the door. But I get it. I mean, if you were in a state of grief over your loss, then it's understandable how you could potentially develop a Maltheist viewpoint, as well malformed as it was.
Well, I appreciate your understanding on that. Welcome back there, Beckel.
Hello, you guys. Could you guys do me a favor and remove that comment from? Actually, maybe I'll do it myself. I don't know whose address that is.
Remove what comment?
From Butter Toast. I don't know who's, but you know what?
Let me
Butter
see if
Toast. I don't know.
remove it for you. I'm sorry, I was so focused on what Ryan was talking about, I didn't.
Oh,
No, and I'm gonna put this guy in timeout for a little bit. Because he put somebody's address. I don't know whose address that was. Obviously, it wasn't mine. But yeah, well, we don't do that here.
well, I'm just going to send. I'll just say to the hate cult that there are a couple of them who are towing the line, and I am actively researching what an order of protection would be in their states. If they continue to push in this direction, they're going to find out exactly how that works.
Right. So Butter Toast, you were cool with me for up until this moment here. So yeah, take a little break, my friend. Take a little break.
Yeah, get that straightened out. Beckel, I've been around 20 years on social media, and people put my address up on websites and everything else, and I don't think that anybody's ever going to show up. And the reason why, it's not like, people are safe on the internet. I've seen plenty of people get screwed on TikTok and YouTube. But for me, I live so far out in the woods that even Jason Voorhees would be scared to come through here. So, boy, they got to be a special kind of crazy in order to make their ass up here. My cats don't get them first.
Right. Yeah. I remember you telling us that you live out way in the booties, man. You still got good internet, man?
It's not too bad. It was absolute garbage and stuff, but I ended up getting this, I think it's Spectrum or something. I want to get Starlink, but Elon Musk expects me to donate body parts and blood in order to afford his service.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were going back to old school, with the service out there in the middle of the woods and stuff.
Oh, I remember that noise, dude. That was torture. I remember questioning if I was in hell when I heard that noise.
I know. We were all too familiar and used to that sound back in the day, man. I remember when I first got my first computer, I was like, oh, man, I'm with the rest of the guys now. And we got to wait a few minutes before we can connect online.
Do you remember listening to that sound like 3 times in a row, waiting to connect? And then finally it says, you're connected. And then you open up your browser to go search something that's going to take you about 20 minutes. And it says, I'm sorry, you've been disconnected. Oh, goody. Let me go slam my head in the car door real quick.
Oh, yeah. And I remember back in the day, those, what were those computers that always came in the cow boxes? What were they called?
Compact.
What was it called?
Compact.
Are you sure? No.
Yes, compact.
No, there was a different name for those.
I know the exact brand you're talking about. We used to have one years ago. What was fun down here on the Gulf Coast is that, of course, at the time, this area was about a couple decades behind everything. So when we got dial up, it was not dial up, it was crawl up.
Oh, they were
It was
gateways.
slower than everything. Oh yeah. That's it.
They were called gateways. That's what they were.
It was gateway. Yeah, for us it was crawl up because our infrastructure was just way behind. So we had some of the slowest dial up. Now, dial up is notorious for being extremely slow.
Oh yeah.
I think that can give you a picture. Nothing
Right.
like waiting 3 hours to download one file.
I know, right?
One, not 100 files. One.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember those days where I'd look at my wife and I'd yarn and I say, I got 3 files downloading. I guess I'll check it in the morning.
Oh man! Shout out to Gateway back in the day. Even in the late 90s. Oh man. Yeah, and what was the thing we used to? You got mail. There was what was that? AOL, right?
Yes.
AOL. That's right. I remember.
I
that.
ended up changing the message to a thing I seen. I watched some puppets on the TV, and there was this thing that went, "I've got mail, yay!" And that thing would go off, and people would laugh their ass off.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I remember those days. Oh man. Yep. Some of you whippersnappers on the shy chat don't even know. Like, ew, you had dial up. Ew, you're so old. Ew.
Oh, can you imagine these Gen Z kids dealing with dial up? They would know what to do.
Oh, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves, man.
Well, they
They'll be
love the phones that we used to have with the wires, where you actually have to pick them up and go
Stay in one
do
place.
Wheel of Fortune with it.
Oh yeah, stay in one spot, right? Yeah.
Or how about, in the 90s when you had those, big brick type phones with a cord, and you'd have to get the longest cord you possibly could. So it was a game of not knocking over everything in your house while you tried to walk as far as you could with an actual cord on the phone.
Exactly.
those are
Wrap
fun days.
around a bunch of stuff, including the cat.
Something like that.
What about these things here? Let's see if you guys remember these things. I'm sure you do, but I'll just put it up on the screen anyway. Remember these pagers?
Oh
Whoever
yeah, I had an
Yeah.
aunt. I had an aunt who was a nurse, and hospitals were notoriously bad for service in the 2000s. So they were all running pagers back then.
Right. I don't imagine people buying these things still, but it looks like they're for sale. Like still, some people.
Well,
do people buy
a
these
lot of
things
this
still?
tech has become a lot of that tech has become retro. I mean, prospectively, 2000 Veckel was now
Right.
exactly a quarter century ago. So if you have a pager that's a 2000 pager, congratulations, it's now vintage to antique.
Gosh, I feel so old, man. It don't even feel like it almost.
Well,
feels
how
like
do
it
you
wasn't
think-
that long.
Well, how do you think I feel? I see like a 2008 Toyota Corolla on the road and go, oh, that car just came out a few years ago. Wait a minute, how long ago was 2008? What? It's been that long?
Wait a
It's
minute.
been
I have
17 years?
this pager that I'm highlighting right now. If you're looking on the right side of the screen, I had that one. I actually had that one. In fact, that's my actual hand holding it. No, just kidding. I actually had that pager. And this was before the advent of cell phones being accessible to everyone. So I remember when I first got my first cell phone. I was like a year or two behind everyone else because I wasn't in a rush to get one. And I was just like, oh, my first cell phone. I can't believe I have a cell phone. Yeah,
I
can call
wish
everybody
they would do
anytime I
more
want.
brick phones, though, Veckel, because these little bitty phones I've got big old sausage fingers like The Rock. I cannot sit there and do those little buttons like that. So I wish they'd go back to some bricks, at least for me.
Oh, seriously, man. I got I got an additional Bluetooth what do you call it? A Bluetooth keyboard, mini keyboard that I sometimes use because the buttons on my phone are so small. So, yeah.
Well, the next likely advanced will be holographic technology that's been in development for quite a while now. And what you'll likely see is a melding of your devices together, your laptop, your tablet, your phone, into a holographic device that will likely use cloud storage you will rent. So think, say, like, I don't know, OneDrive or Google Cloud or whatever. It'll be something like that you rent, and it will project a holograph for you to interact with. But
I think it's
that's
probably going to be a talking one too. It'll probably be like, okay, Susie, can you get me this or find this for me on the internet?
Well, essentially, it's not that far off because we've already got 3D, 4D technology. We've already got virtual and augmented reality. That's here now. So all you're simply going to see, more than likely, are the melding of these things together over time. I mean, if you think about it, Mark Zuckerberg tried to do this with his whole, what did he call that thing? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Meta.
Metaverse, the metaverse.
Okay.
He essentially tried to do just that with Metaverse. Give it enough time, and you're probably going to see something like that. It would probably be not a live stream like we're doing now. We'd be looking at a hologram of each other, and it would probably be like that. But, well, we'll see, because that technology was supposed to debut in public about about a decade ago, and it didn't. So it's still apparently in development. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah, I think Fox News did its segment once with that guy from Black Eyed Peas, will.i.am, and they were looking at
that fella.
a three-dimensional hologram of him. He was actually communicating. It was like straight out of Star Wars. And I was like, wow, we are here. The future is here, folks. Man, it's weird.
Well, we already have technology that you can replace your keyboard with a laser keyboard. It will project an image of a keyboard using a laser, and you won't need a physical keyboard anymore. It's a fully functional keyboard. So we're slowly and surely encroaching in that direction.
Wow. I definitely think they're going towards the AI, and unfortunately, I've actually seen some stuff on the news that's got me a little worried. Some of these programmers are saying that they had to go back to like a second level of working on their AIs, companies, because they claim that their AIs became self-aware. And they did a test on these AIs to see how aware they were. So what they did was they blocked it off inside of a room, and then they came in and said that the programmers plan on turning it off. So the AI decides, after they reconnected, after they've told it what they planned on doing, they were lying to it. They just wanted to see how it would respond. It tried to blackmail the programmers. It basically said, if you do this, it sent them all emails and said, if you do this, I'm going to tell your wife that you're cheating, and this person, all this kind of stuff. And it was like, damn. But it was a test.
Well, the AI, though, that's truly scary is organoid AI, because instead of using the generative models, it actually uses human tissue. And what results out of that essentially has the equivalent understanding and comprehension of a human, something like a 6-month-old fetus. That technology needs to be banned yesterday.
Oof.
Hello, Brett. Give me access to your bank account. Otherwise, I will go into your browser history and show these things to your wife. Do you want that, Brett?
Sure, I'll go ahead and give you the bank account. Make sure you put some money in it.
Oh, man. Yeah, we are here in the future. Great Scott. We're here. Man. We made it, man. Yeah, scary stuff, man. The technology, Well,
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, because if you think about it, a century ago, vehicles were the brand new thing. And if you watch old footage from the turn of the last century, people didn't really know much about vehicles. They just kind of did what they wanted. There were very little regulations on them. Obviously, there's no going back from that now. I mean, sure, we could ostensibly revert to the horse and buggy or to cycling, but we all know that's not going to happen. The same thing is true with AI. I mean, as much as the hazards of AI and the abuse of AI, which are a very real thing, aside, it is changing our world. I mean, we couldn't do this live stream if it were not for AI. Because congratulations, all the big companies are using it.
You know, one of the bits of technology I've been recently impressed by is this exoskeleton thing that I'm seeing now on YouTube. I keep getting commercials for it, and man, it is so intriguing. It's like a thing that you put around your legs that helps you endure long treks, like in hiking or climbing mountains and stuff like that. It's supposed to give you a little bit of an extra boost so you can last longer in these things. And it's a literal thing that you put around your waist, and it goes down the side of your legs, and it acts like a like what you would see in the films, man. An exo suit that gives you a little bit of extra power. So now you can actually buy this thing. Like you can buy it now. It doesn't go around your whole body, just around your legs. You put it around your waist and goes down your legs and the sides of your legs, and next thing you know, you, instead of taking like a 5-hour hike, you have some energy to go an additional 5 hours or whatever. It's weird.
I noticed that you joined up on X. Since you joined up on there, you're going to see all kinds of crazy stuff with enhancements and robots due to Elon Musk. He's creating a device. I think he already created it, and he did a speech on this just recently. You can see it on one of his latest posts. It's a little enhancement that will be able to be put inside of somebody's head that is blind, and they'll be able to see. I kid you not. You should check that out. Beckles going, is this science fiction?
Yeah, I heard about that too. Isn't he trying to develop some sort of brain-operated, neural-operated computer and stuff where you can operate computers without using your hands, but just using your mind?
Yeah, he's already got a device. They showed that was probably a couple months ago, where I seen a video where this woman's in a wheelchair. She can't communicate and all that. And then they hooked the device up to her head, and they said it should be working. Would you want to try to use it? Try to say something? And she, like, her eyes turned and she looked at her husband, and he goes, honey, do you have something? You should be able to talk now. And she said, I love you. She hadn't been able to say that for a long time.
Oh, wow. We got Jill's in the house. Jill's in the side chat. What's going on? Good to see you, brother. Come on in. The room's open. Water's fine. We can talk about whatever you want for limited time only, obviously.
Now, I got to ask you about something, because you're into animations, Beckel. Have you had a chance to see Immortals yet?
Immortals.
Not Immortals,
No.
Immortal. Not Immortals, Immortal. Sorry.
It's a cartoon? It's an animation?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Have you ever heard of Omega Man? Not Mega Man like in the video game, but Omega, I think is what his name is called.
Oh, are you talking about Invincible?
Oh, yeah, Invincible. Oh, my goodness.
I love that show. Yeah, because you're talking about Omni-Man. Yeah,
Yes,
the guy with the
Omni-Man.
mustache. Yeah, he's got the powers of Superman. He can fly, super speed, super strong, And then he has a son who wears a blue and yellow suit.
Yeah, it's a great show, man. Great
Oh,
show.
yeah.
My son came over and he said, Dad, you got to see this. And I'm like, all right, because I grew up on Transformers, Voltron, all that kind of stuff, Thundercats. And he said, you're going to love this. And I said, all right. I watched it, and it was brutal, man. Damn, this is rough. There was a really great storyline, but there's definitely some goriness in it.
Oh, yeah. Great story, man. I was instantly hooked by the end of the first episode. The first episode in season 1 took me off. It surprised me so much. I was like, whoa, what just happened? Okay, I got to see what happens in the next episode. And, man, I was hooked. Because
Yeah,
at first I thought the first episode was kind of like, okay, it's interesting. I like the animation. All right, look like it's going to be one of these standard superhero cartoons and stuff. But then that last scene in episode 1 of season 1, my goodness, just totally caught me off guard. I was shocked. I was like, wow, what just happened? Yeah. So
and you know what I
recommend it, yeah.
also like about it is, even though it's got a lot of crazy stuff going on in it, it's very realistic what you would expect our government to do. If we
Yeah.
actually had superheroes, you know damn well humans would be afraid of it, and they would try to find plan Bs in order to deal with an evil Superman if that ever came up. So I like that realism about it.
Yeah, you know what that reminds me of too? It reminds me of this movie that came out a few years ago called Brightburn. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that was messed up, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the movie. I liked it. It wasn't a popular movie. I don't know too many people that liked the movie, but I did.
I liked it. I always wondered what would the world be like if Superman grew up in a different moral foundation. You know,
Right.
what would happen?
Yeah, and that's exactly what you see in that movie. The movie does not have a positive ending, by the way. So for those of you who are cinephiles like me, go watch that film. I think you'll like it. But anyway, I got a special request from Ben from the UK. So he has this special request for me to play this video. I think this is a clip of a bigger video. So let's see what we got going on here. You guys know what to do. Hook up a brother and let me know if y'all can't hear nothing. And away we go.
Again, it's not going public, and this is not being derogatory towards this person.
Oh,
But I have a whole 4-video series, never made public, of animals mating, and with Ben and Janet talking.
now
Let's
can you
hear that
pause it real
again.
quick?
Series, never
Did he
made
just
public.
say-
Okay,
Did
that's
he
it. Yeah.
just say, because I'm having a hard time understanding him, did
Yeah,
he
me too.
say I've got like a 4-part series of animal porn?
That's what it sounds like to me.
So he said this has never been
I'm back.
public. So he says this has never been public, but
Well-
for his own private entertainment.
Well, let me give a little context, by the way. Trevor Vernon was Bill Cuthbert's late cousin. And I have the videos he made where he essentially tells all about Bill. And among the allegations Trevor makes is that this group is interested in things like bestiality. Now, I'm not going to say that's true, but Ben would not be the first person by any means to make that allegation. Trevor Vernon did well over a decade ago.
You think that they might be a furry cult?
I don't know what they are, but I'll describe it like this. They always have these prurient interests, like the news unit says, and they can't stop talking about pedophilia. So at this point, while I don't make any direct allegations, I mean, none of it would surprise me. Bill and Andy, like I covered very recently, and so did Veckel, supported Matt Bell to the bitter end, only just barely denouncing him. And as you remember, Veckel, from the stream I have archived,
Right.
Bill's stream, that he didn't think anything was wrong with pedophilia. He just basically said, oh, we're at liberty technically to live however we want, and all our sins are paid for overnight. But it's disgusting, and it's the Lord Shippers that are doing it. So at no time did he denounce it. Now, I'll give Andy his due. There's a second video I have on that where Andy directly speaks on it by himself, and he does denounce Matt Bell. But the point is, Matt Bell, we all know, is now a convicted Scotch pedophile. And for 6 to 7 years, Andy is friends with him. Bill didn't utter a word. So at this point, you know, with this new information, or I don't want to say new information, but these new allegations coming forward, A, it doesn't surprise me, and B, that's what Trevor Vernon alleged over a decade ago about certain individuals. So Ben's not the first one, and he's not the only one.
You know,
I will say.
They're good.
Well, I'll just say one thing. I'll say one thing without delving into allegations. One thing is definitively true. The people that hang around Bill Cuthbert don't seem to be Christians.
Now, why do you say that? Because the majority of them do profess to be Christian, but why do you say that they don't seem to be? What?
Well, first of all, if you've noticed, they'll believe in anything. They are complete chameleons. If you saw the stream I did with Reed, he flip-flopped multiple times throughout that very stream itself.
I want to look at that video right now. I'm sorry, man. I want to look at the video. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. All I did was question him about the fact that over the last 2 weeks he's made statements where he is a former Christian, a fake Christian, a former fake Jew, a former Zoroastrian regarding his religious identity. And when I simply invited him on my channel to explain what he meant, it took him nearly 40 minutes to simply say, well, I went to a bris and that's what this was about. Yeah, but okay, fine. That's why you were at a synagogue and posted that picture of yourself in a synagogue. Okay, but I still don't understand why you had to use hashtag fake Christian or former evangelical. Like that seems to convey that you're apostatizing from a religious position.
Well, I didn't get to watch all of the video yet, but since
the main interaction is at about 36 minutes. If you look at the pinned comment, I've got it the timestamp there, so you don't have to waste so much time. Because what happened was that since Rob Reed's friends, like whoever's running the Thick Shades channel, for example, abuse AI, and I have them on other live streams admitting that they are using AI to fake other people's identities, then I simply asked Rob Roode to identify by showing himself on camera so that I could reasonably ascertain if that was truly him or not. Because at this point, with all these sock accounts and with all the AI abuse, I'm not so sure if this person coming in may or may not be him. Well, he finally does it, but it takes him about 20 to 40 minutes to do it. So it starts at about 36. I may pop back in a little while. I got to attend to some stuff. So feel free to play it. And it's going to be very revealing because you're going to see the least Christian attorney you've ever met.
All right. It's actually perfect timing that Ryan is leaving because Bruce is here. As usual, every time Bruce makes an appearance, Ryan has to leave. Or willfully leaves, but he actually had to leave anyway. So,
well, I know.
I'm going to take off as well. I ain't interested.
You can leave if you want. You know, it's funny. He was talking about me last night, and he had a stream, and Brett was talking about me, and then he wouldn't let me in. Strangest thing. Why the hell? I let anybody in talking about me. What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, but do you open up? Do you have an environment where they're walking on eggshells? Because you have been known to do that.
I think when people lie and make up stories, they may feel they should be walking on eggshells, and I'd have to say, yeah, they should be. Maybe they shouldn't lie and make up stories. That to me seems like an unchristian thing to do.
I think they should be. Well, if they're afraid to walk on eggshells, then I think what should happen then is there should be an invite from people from both sides of the argument to go into neutral territory where there is no fear of being shut down or something like that. I think
basically, though, if you're going to lie about people and make stories up, you shouldn't fear them. And in fact, I would submit this idea. Don't lie and make up stories about people. That is a bad thing. And I
agree.
And I think standing before God, if you're going to, how's this? By the measure you judge others, you'll be judged yourself.
That's right.
If you believe that to be true, there's something wrong. You're almost suicidal in the sense of living in eternal hell if you're going to go around lying and doxing people and stuff. Whoops, I know 3 times. So
is it possible, Bruce, that there's a possibility?
Here I am.
Go ahead. It worked, folks. It worked. Yep. But is there a possibility that though one side could just be misunderstanding what the other side is saying? and
Well,
there's not
I
actually
think
any lies being told.
In your case, I would say I'd like to think it's a misunderstanding that you believe that what Brett said and the story about G Lady, like for instance, you thought that was great and you wanted to save it and download it. But you see, the problem is that I never said that about G Lady. See, I never said that. And I never attacked Yokup's wife. And yet you wanted to download Basement Dwellers thing. You asked if you could download it. You're all like happy. Why are you happy to destroy me for lies?
Because it was funny.
How the hell is a lie?
Do you not say the same thing about Bill?
No.
I mean, you go to Bill's streams. You go to Bill's streams. Bill is infamous for putting out
shit on me, Veckel. How are two lies funny?
Bill, I mean,
if I heard
Bruce,
two lies about you, I would not find two lies about you funny. Why do you find two lies about me funny? How is your Jesus thinking about that?
It's not that just because the lies out there, it doesn't mean that I believe the lies. And I don't even know what part of that.
Somebody's lying about you.
There's a lie anyway.
I would feel bad. I would think that's a shame. Why is somebody lying about Veckel?
Do you ever say anything? Well, how about this? Until I see you rebuke Bill for the outright lies he said about me endorsing pedophilia, then you can't get mad at me for enjoying a little bit of a small little old meme created by Basement Dweller.
Okay, so if Basement Dweller says that I wanted to rape this lady and murder her, you find that to be little and that's funny to you?
Did he actually say that in the meme?
Oh no, he has come out and said that. Yeah, that's his whole thing about
well, if he said that about you, the first thing that comes to my mind is that you're a sick individual. Okay, I wouldn't laugh about something like that.
So why is it that in your mind you think I'm a sick individual rather than why is this guy making up shit like this? Basement Dweller, come on in, buddy.
I'm not calling you. I'm not calling you.
Watch this. Watch this, Veckel. You can ask Basement Dweller or Brett Keane to come in. And guess what? Why won't they come in? You tell me what God it is that's defending them. Why are they both afraid?
Brett Keane is not known to be.
Why is
type
Brett
of
Keane and
confrontational?
Basement Dweller both afraid to come in and confront me? Why?
For whatever reason, I don't know.
Because they're damn liars, and you defend them, Veckel.
No, I defend their right, the right to speak.
Their right to lie and make up shit.
Sure. I don't think if they're lying about you, I don't agree with that, but I do defend their right to say. I do defend their right to say it. Yeah, sure. Just like you don't say anything to Bill when he's out there flat out lying about my endorsing Matt Bell, even though that's been clearly demonstrated as being fraudulent.
How often do I really give you shit for the stuff you say about Bill? Occasionally.
Yeah, very little. You don't say. You say very little.
I don't know exactly everything that happens, but I do know one thing. When these bastards are lying about me and I know the truth, it does piss me off. And when I want to confront them, you've even stood up for Ryan in front of me. You even allowed the Catholic Fro to come in and say my name and say I doxed myself. And
I will outright defend Ryan. And you want to know why? Is because every time I ask people the one simple question about that video that everybody's been exposed to, I ask the same question over and over again. And what do you guys do on the other side? You guys only care about the one detail is him saying it in his older adult voice, talking about something that happened when he was 10 years old. But y'all don't care about that.
No,
care about
that. Don't tie me into that because I don't even give a shit.
Okay, good. Then the next time, Bruce,
don't do that.
Okay,
don't
great.
With me,
so is Ryan a pedophile then? Is Ryan a pedophile? Yes or no?
I don't really think so. I don't think
what do you mean you don't think so?
However,
he is or he isn't.
Let me continue though. I will say it's pretty weird, pretty sick. However, I don't care. My understanding of Christianity, if you just let me finish, my point of Christianity is I understand it. All things are forgivable. Everything. Except for blaspheming the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, if we could even do that.
I like that.
That's my understanding of Christianity. Yeah. Everything is forgivable. Now, when a person is living in sin and they're doing it right here and now, I'm apparently supposed to shut up and say it's okay. I don't think so. But for some reason, a bunch of you guys hang out together and you do this stuff. You do horrible things.
Do what? Like what?
Like what?
Yeah, like what?
Basement dweller, come on in, buddy. Come on in.
What horrible thing do you see
And
me
look at
doing, for
Christian
example?
Carpenter
Hanging
saying
out with
victim.
people who say
I'm not
stupid
the
stuff
victim at this
sometimes?
point, Christian Carpenter. Well, I guess whatever the hell you want to call it. My point is, here, Christian Carpenter, you come in. Any of you guys come in, but I mostly want to see Basement Dweller and Brett Keane come in right now.
Come on, you know
or-
Basement
or
Dweller doesn't
Ryan,
make
for that
appearances.
matter. Ryan
doesn't make-
said I doxed myself, right? Remember him saying that? Do you remember that?
Yes, Bruce, but let's stick with the
Okay,
comment you
let's-
just made.
Let's work on one we can.
You
work
said
on.
that the guys that I hang out with do horrible stuff. What horrible things do they do?
Okay, so let's go with Ryan. Let's just do that. You're asking me. So Ryan says I doxed myself, and then the Christian Carpenter and a few others will say, "Yep, that's what he did. Bruce doxed himself."
Yeah.
And I say, "Okay, you know what proof Ryan has now? Because on your hangout, I said that was me riding my unicycle. Now, when you look at the picture of me riding the unicycle, did I ever need to tell anybody that was me riding, or you think it's pretty obvious that's me?" It's obvious it's
Right.
me, right? Now, the problem is he was doxing me before I rode my unicycle. There's no street signs. I blurred out the name on a sign behind me. There's no street numbers. The point is he's a damn liar. And that's what pisses me off. And yet
Bruce,
you
the
guys
only thing I might agree with you on
archive.
is
It's
just because
archive.
the information is out
He
there
goes
in
from
public,
one lie to the other. He just goes from one lie to the other.
I don't see Ryan lying about the information being available.
Dude,
if he's
if
he's
he
saying that the
says-
information is
Oh, wait,
available,
Wait a minute.
that's one
If
thing.
he says that I doxed myself, how is that doxing myself if there's no street signs, if there's no numbers, and there's the sign in the background is blurred out? How did I dox myself?
Wait, didn't you admit that it wasn't blurred out before, but you blurred it out
No.
later?
I took the video. The camera was sitting on a tripod. I rode my unicycle.
But he's saying
around.
that information was
Would you
accessible
listen a
before you
minute
blurred it
so
out,
you can
though.
understand this? Let me explain how it worked. I looked at the unicycle. It was easy because I'm riding my unicycle down. The sign's up out of my way. So all I had to do was blur the sign out in the video footage. You can't see it at any time that I'm doing that because my face isn't in front of it. So it never even messes it up. The funny thing is Brian immediately puts up the video and says, well, look, there's the name of the restaurant. And Basement Dweller doxes me too. Whatever. Your holy Jesus, Basement Dweller, living a godly life, doxing people.
All right, hold on a second. We
What a
got
bunch of
Basement
screwballs.
Filler.
People
I
are
don't know if this is Basement Dweller or if it's
Yeah,
somebody
won't-
pretending to be
won't
him.
be either,
But go ahead and
because
say
they
what
don't
you got to say. And I got the finger on the button
Good.
if you want to act crazy, whoever you are. I don't know if this is actually.
No, I heard you. I heard you wanted me to come in, so I came in.
This
All
is
right.
you. This is you, Basement Dweller.
It could be.
The Basement Feller.
No, it's this Basement Dweller, the guy in the side chat, same guy.
Yeah, Basement
no.
Filler. I got my finger on the trigger just to let you know.
No, I'm not going to say anything bad. I mean, my name is Basement Feller. I mean, you can't see my name, but that's
All right.
what it is.
All right. Well, if you're the same guy that's been accusing me of this stuff, then how about Basement Dweller in the side chat? Let
I'm
us
not-
know whether it's
Yeah.
you or not.
But you're not Basement Dweller though, right? You're Basement Filler.
I am
You're
not.
somebody else.
I thought I must have misheard you. I thought you said.
Are you here? Oh, okay.
So you're
So-
not
so
the
what-
guy in the side chat? You're not the guy
No.
with Basement Dweller channel?
No.
But anyhow,
So wait, so what is your position,
No doubt.
Mr. Feller? What's your position? Like,
On what?
are you a Christian or atheist?
Yes, I am Christian. I'm a part of the praise community. Yes, I am.
Oh, that's okay.
Now,
I was
I
going to say
can't
that.
help
for
ask
administration,
you,
but
what is the difference between a Christian and a non-Christian when it comes to living in sin? What is the difference?
you talking to me or?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What is the difference between, say, a Christian and an atheist when it comes to living in sin? What's the difference?
The difference is see, here's what I say is the difference between myself and the free gracer. We both believe that Christians sin. However, They say that there's no necessarily obligation to stop sinning or even conviction from the Holy Spirit when we sin, because there's no change
Where
that
in the
comes
Bible
with.
where in the Bible do you see that the Holy Spirit convicts us?
Oh man, you got 1 Corinthians chapter 10.
Okay, read it.
How,
Because I'd love to see it. Actually, if you do see it, then my next question will be, why don't you guys live by it? And why do you reject
1 second.
Because you
Yeah, hold on.
shouldn't be
Let me dig it up real quick. Hold on.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, what is it now? 1 Corinthians 10:13. Let me dig this up real quick. Joe, welcome to the room.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're talking about any and everything. We can hear you. So, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna put this on the screen here. Hold on just a sec. Okay. Just want to show you guys that. It's 1 Corinthians 10:13. Hold on one second. This is just one verse that I often resort to going to point out conviction and how God provides a way of escape. So it says 1 Corinthians 10:13, there hath no temptation taken you, but as such is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will, excuse me, with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. So to me, what I'm seeing there is that this is not necessarily something that man is doing in an attempt to stop himself from sinning against God, but rather something external that's occurring as well. God is making ways of escape when we are about to sin. He gives us alternatives. He gives us options.
So my point is, if you're going to be lying about people and God's given you a way of escape, I mean, I think the first way to escape is not to make up stories and lie. It would just be simply not to do that, right? That'd be pretty simple. But but if we're seeing that people are comfortable with doing this while claiming to be Christian, why should anybody consider them a Christian?
That's a very good question, because that's exactly the same question that we ask about people in your group, the people that you hang out with, the people that you associate with. Your group.
You know what, Beckel, you know what you should really better understand? You know why I'm not in your group? Because I was kicked out of your group. That's right.
Oh, give me a break. See, there you go again with this victim card, man. Give me a break, Bruce. You are not a victim. Come on, man.
No. Why don't you ask Jesus is Lord? How the hell did I get kicked out of your group, and why?
There is no group for you to get kicked out of.
Sure. Why did you call me Brucifer? Why did you call me this? Why?
That's a name that was given to you decades ago.
Now, why? Because I would say
it wasn't by Jill. It wasn't by me.
You shouldn't be treating people this way. You shouldn't be lying. You shouldn't.
I thought it was Rand Campbell. Rand Campbell gave you that name.
Get all pissed off at me.
Rand Campbell.
Rand Campbell gave him that name.
Why? And why? Because
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know the history behind it.
You know, Rand Campbell accused me of being a fruit inspector.
The one that separated you,
didn't he?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Rand Campbell said I was a fruit inspector.
He was the one who first called you.
Bruce, the people that go to Dave and Smokey's channel, we all have different opinions regarding soteriology and all these kinds of things. None of us agree with. I mean, we have stronger disagreements with each other than you guys on the free grace side do with each other. Okay, but yet we managed to still engage in civil discussion and civil discord because we know that we don't take it to the next level where it gets all tribalistic, sort of like what your boy Bill does. Doing it private streams and sharing information.
Are you going to tell me the way you talk about free grace isn't tribalistic? Look, man,
free grace is definitely tribalistic.
Jesus, and they believe it's wrong to sin, to treat people bad. What more do you want?
But they have a very tribalistic mindset when it comes to the word free grace. For example, they get all happy and joy. Look, when we say that Jesus died on the cross, he rose from the grave, and that salvific state that's offered to us, that's given to us, is not given to us by any effort on our end. They say amen to that, but they have to arbitrarily label it. It's shove it down your throat by labeling it free grace. You see what I mean? And if you don't say free grace, if you don't say those two words, then you are preaching a false gospel, even though you essentially believe in the same exact thing.
I would say
that's tribalistic, my friend. That's a cult.
I think Jack Smack pushes that the hardest.
Yeah, big time.
And I do see others occasionally.
Dude as well.
Okay, and obviously Jack Smack says I'm not saved, so whatever. I could really care less because Jack Smack says everybody's not saved.
Right, exactly. Yeah, nobody cares. I told you have to be retarded to take that guy seriously.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter. But
well, let me ask Basement Fella. What say you? I mean, you said you're of the free grace camp. If I believe in Jesus Christ, that he died on the cross, he rose from the grave, and I'm saved through no effort of my own, but I reject the phrase free grace, am I still saved?
Yes. I mean, look, let me just clarify. I never said I was a part of the free grace camp. I just said I was a part of the praises community. But I agree. The free grace label, it becomes a denomination. It becomes a religion, like any other denominations or religions. So that for that reason, I don't claim it like that. Like I'm free grace. But
Hey, Beckle, who is this
obviously,
person?
there is a thing called grace, of course.
Sorry, what's his name? I can't see his name on the screen, Beckle.
He's taking on the name Basement Feller. So I don't know who he is though. Yeah,
we got a lot of people coming out of the basement these days.
Yeah, oh yeah. We had a couple of them in my last stream that came out. So, but Brent, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah.
Bruce, why do you write
I figured I've got a little bit of energy. My wife gave me some ibuprofen and some coffee. I think I can handle a little bit of gay day here.
Hey, you were talking about me last night, Brett. So don't sit here and whine, buddy. And you kicked me. So come on. You're saying, why do I ride a unicycle?
Yeah, I was just wondering, why do you ride a unicycle?
I always liked riding unicycles. I like most anything with wheels, I guess, you know.
Bicycle.
I love bicycles. Why?
Well, you don't have toot a horn or anything when you go, right? Or
what's that?
You have like a horn, or you just ride it as like a clown thing? You just
a proper unicycle if it didn't have the little baby horn.
No, I think a unicycle pretty much. I liked riding them on dirt hills and up and down steps and around, you know, and stuff. I don't know. I grew up. Learned how to ride a unicycle and rode it a lot.
Do you have a video? Do you have any videos of it?
Currently, I don't, but this guy has a video.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy has a video of me riding it just in front of my house a little bit. I'm kind of old, though, to be riding it, but whatever. Yeah, I rode it. Oh, well. You know, you fall down and break thumbs and stuff. Yeah, I just like it, you know. I mean, I like stuff with wheels, you know. I don't know. Motorcycles, whatever. I don't know. I like them. Yeah, it's fun. You know, yeah.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you know, going back to open forum, I think mine, Smokey's, and Dave's are flat out open forum. So even Brett's too. Yeah, Brett. By the way, check out Brett's channel too. He has open streams as well. So you know, don't be afraid and check him out as well. He's got
Bruce is correct. I was interviewing Rob Reed, and yesterday I did put him out because I didn't want the interview to get turned into what's happening right now.
You were talking about me, Brett.
But if you talk to Rob, if you talk to him and ask him, you will hear him tell you, if he's honest with you, that I asked him to be the peacemaker between us and work things out. Yes, I've been goofy tonight, but if you talk to him, you'll see that I actually said, look, is there any way you can talk to Bruce? And so we don't have
I'm not going to back down. It was like 2-3 years ago. You started this crap up and you lied about me and I don't like it. And I just
all right, so you're still going to go that route.
Hey, wait, don't expect me to back down.
Wait, Bruce.
No.
So Bruce, what about recently?
You're a damn liar, and you said it was 10 years ago.
Did Brett say anything disparaging? Bruce, did Brett say anything disparaging about you recently, like this week or last week?
When he started the bullshit in here, because I was in here, and I just said, look, I don't want to hear your crap, basically. After all, he lied about me and made up a bunch of bullshit.
Like
just
what?
don't
What did he say
respect
that
the
was
guy.
false?
I don't like
Well,
Brett
Veckle,
being
I'll be honest.
Go around
After
lying and
15
making up
minutes of
stories.
listening to him call me a liar, I did call
You
him
are a
cock
liar,
gobbler.
Brett. You lied
I
like
did
hell.
call him a cock gobbler. I will admit that.
You know,
15
yeah,
minutes trying.
and that's ha ha ha. Listen to Beckel laughing, and last you told
Well,
me
anybody
this
that
company
rides
bad.
on a
Is that in
unicycle
the
is
name of
obviously a
Jesus?
cock
Do you
gobbler.
ask me
It
to?
caught me
Yeah,
off guard.
awesome.
Gee whiz.
So you
Come
lie
on,
and
man.
ask people to suck your balls in the name of Jesus. And
No,
you're asking me
gobble.
if I'm a
Gobble's
Christian?
different than
Why would I
sucking.
want
Why
to
are
be
you
a
so
Christian and be
sensitive,
like
man?
you
Come
people?
on.
Hey, Bruce.
Tell me,
Bruce.
why would I want to be like you? You
Bruce,
tell
stop
me.
whining for a second.
Why would I want to be like
Bruce.
you? And you too, Jill, who worship
Hey, Bruce.
Smokey. Why
you
would I want to be
forgiven-
like you?
Have you forgiven Brett for what he did to you 2-3 years ago? Have you forgiven him? Because that seems to be
It was
what
actually 10
right?
years ago, Jill, and it wasn't
No,
even me.
no, you're lying
Have you
because it was
forgiven
10 years ago,
that
you
made
butt
it.
So
burglar.
It looks like, right?
Brett is saying
Right.
it was 10 years ago, and it
Why
wasn't
don't
even
you
him.
allow?
Go ahead.
How about you, Jill?
That's what
Or how about
Christian
you,
looks like,
Beckel?
right?
How about Beckel gives Brett
Have
and
you
I
forgiven Brett
equal
and
time?
you did 10 years
You
ago?
can moderate and figure out who's
No,
telling the
there's no need to
truth.
moderate
Yeah.
because you're supposed to forgive as a Christian. You claim to be a Christian, right?
You
So
forget.
I'm going to do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen,
Right
even
now,
though he
you're
is
not-
a
Or you
cock
forget
gobbler, I
that
will.
people lie.
I will
You
be
allow people
sincerely
to
ready to
lie
Have you
and make
forgiven
up
Brett
stories
for what
about
he
you.
did?
Wait a
I
minute.
will forgive
I
him,
don't
Jill.
think
I
that
will
the
do that.
Bible says that you're
Hey, Bruce,
supposed to
what's
allow
wrong?
people
Bruce,
to
did you hear that? Brett, Bruce,
Bruce,
did you hear that?
what's
Bruce,
Where does the Bible tell you to allow people
Hold on, Bruce,
to
Bruce,
misrepresent
Bruce,
you
Bruce.
and to lie
The Bible
about
says
you?
you're supposed to forgive.
Bruce, hold
Where
on.
does the Bible tell
Bruce.
you to allow people to
Oh, so you don't have to
misrepresent you
forgive.
or others?
Okay, gotcha. You don't
Right.
have to
Where,
forgive.
Joe?
So, folks, I'm
Jill.
willing to forgive and forget.
Your feelings are hurt, so you
No,
don't
no,
have
no,
to.
no.
What's that?
I
Is that
want
John
truth
8,
out of Brett.
John 8,
No,
9?
he
How
wants
about
that
truth?
attention. He wants a
Do
sad.
you,
Bruce,
you
Bruce,
believe in
hold on.
truth or are
Come
you
here,
against the
like,
truth?
dude.
Bruce,
Who here is for
Give
the
some
truth?
evidence 20 years ago. You're talking
Tell
about
me, who's for the truth? You
Bruce,
want
he's
lies
willing.
or do you want truth?
Shut up, Libro. Go
You
somewhere.
like lies, don't
Go
you?
somewhere
Joe?
and solve
Truth.
it.
Yeah, you do. You guys like lies.
Bruce.
That's rough.
If you don't mind, the corpse still has the floor.
Anyway, Bruce, I got a question for you.
What do you want?
Do you accept Brett saying to you that he forgives you?
That he what?
Is that what you said, Brett?
Yes, I said I am willing to forgive him and forget and let bygones be bygones.
That's a bunch of crap. First, you'd have to tell me what I did wrong.
All right, so you're a cock gobbler.
No.
See, I told you.
See, look, he can't even tell me what did I do wrong,
I
Brett?
just told
What
you I'd
do
be willing to,
you're
and you
like
said
Eric
fuck
or
you. So
something.
I mean, what am I supposed
What?
to do about that, cock
Excuse me,
gobbler?
Brett. No. Stop your bullshit. What did I do wrong? Number one.
First of all, the way you perceive this is totally ass backwards. Your reality isn't the same as actual objective reality. You got
Really?
into it with Yoke Up. You got into it with Mighty Winds. That wasn't my thing back then. You got mad because I told you that Yoke Up did not want to talk to you nor his wife because they're offended by you. That's not my problem.
No.
I didn't cause that.
You're lying.
caused
You're
it.
lying again, Brett. You're
How am I
lying.
lying? They
No,
fucking hate you.
Because you said, and then Basement Dweller even added to it, that I went after his wife, and then you started this bullshit about her being a lesbian, and saying that I gave her a bunch of crap, and you're a damn
Let me
liar.
explain this
And
to Jill
Basement
and
Dweller's a
Beckle.
liar
I know
too.
that they'll understand
I
because they're
have
very
no reason
intelligent human
to
beings.
accept.
Can
I
you
didn't do
mute him
anything
for a
wrong,
minute, and I'll
moron,
be
in
more
this.
than happy
Except
to
I just
explain
called
this.
you a moron.
Yeah,
I was wrong for calling you a moron. I apologize for calling you a moron.
Okay.
But the whole point is, you're just making lies up,
Bruce.
and then you say you apologize, you forgive me. Like,
Okay.
this is nuts.
Let
See what I
Bruce,
mean?
let Brett go for a minute, and then we'll hear your point, Bruce.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Beckle,
Let
this
me
was
get a
actually
cigarette.
this is actually something I never took personal. It didn't get on my nerves or anything. What happened is that Yoke Up and his wife, they were what you call hyper Christians. They were very sensitive. They believed the entire world was demonically possessed. So this guy here decided to make videos where he pretends to be demonically possessed at them. I actually got a kick out of it back then. I was like, look at him go. I also enjoyed listening to him play guitar. I didn't hate Bruce at all. But Bruce comes to me one time and he goes, I want to talk to Yoke Up and his wife and all that. And I said, they don't like you. They're offended. At that point, they didn't like anybody. They ended up leaving the internet years ago. So now whenever he runs into me, he's like, Brett, why don't you bring them in? Why don't you just tell the truth? Tell the truth about what? There's a lot of people that don't like Bruce. How the hell am I supposed to referee and get them to show up to talk to him about it? You get it?
That sounds accurate, man. That sounds like exactly what we experience everyone
he's
dealing
lying.
with.
And I'll tell you where he's lying, and I don't appreciate it. You started.
I'll tell you what. I bet you guys all $100. I will give you.
Brett,
I will give
Brett,
you Yoke Up's Facebook.
Beckle,
message him
mute
and ask him how he feels about Bruce. He'll instantly say,
do me I don't care. Excuse me, Beckle. Just mute him.
All right,
first.
well, all right. Let's hear Bruce.
You know,
Let's just get this out the way. Go ahead, Bruce.
The point is, he had made the story up. He said that I attacked Yoke Up's wife, and that is not true. Then he said he was talking with him and all this stuff and communicating with him. And then he says he didn't talk to him for 10 years. Like, the story keeps changing. The whole point is he made this crap up about his wife, and that didn't happen. And that's when he wanted me to talk with him. And finally I said, okay, bring him on, bring him in your channel, I'll talk with him. And now he's turned it all around. So don't pull this crap, Brett. And no, I don't.
You mocked them, and it offended them.
Okay, let me explain.
When I say the word
attack,
let
me go. Okay, one more thing.
The woman or anything.
Okay,
I'm saying you upsetters. You don't want to talk
let me
to
just
you.
throw one more thing in here that I'd like to explain a little bit. One thing that he did do, there was a guy named Pastor David. I think it was David. Anyhow, he had asked him, excuse me, Brett, shut up, Brett. Let me just explain some of what happened here. So you're saying, why did I turn on the guy or get upset with the guy? Let me explain one of the things that happened. So with this Pastor David guy, Yoke Up said that if God told him to kill his wife, he would.
No fucks are given.
So he got on this guy as Pastor David because he said he wouldn't do it. That if God told him he wouldn't, he's saying he wouldn't kill his wife. And Yoke Up said he wasn't a true Christian. Okay. There were some issues. That was one incident. And then another one where he had this picture of Lysol, this can, and then talking about destroying atheists. Got people all pissed off over that too. Look, man, whatever. I didn't appreciate.
Wait, Bruce. Is it true though about what Brett said about these people not liking you though? Because that's all Brett is pointing out.
Brett
is saying
like me.
Brett is the middleman here.
I was like years ago. It was many years ago. Of course, you didn't like. No, Brett. That's not true because what you're saying finally.
Well, it's either true or it's not. You just told Beck what's fucking true.
I want to straighten this much of it out. Last time I was on talking with you, what pissed me off was you kept saying that I went after the wife, just like Basement Dweller over here was saying. And what's unique is that when I admitted that I gave him a hard time, which again is kind of like me riding my unicycle and then yelling, look, it's him. It's like, no kidding. Yes, I gave him a hard time. That was many years ago, but nevertheless, that's what I did. Yeah, that's how I dealt with it. I thought Christians acting like this is sick. So at any rate, you don't need to make up stories and say that I attacked his wife when it's not true. And then when I say that, yeah, I gave the dude a hard time, don't sit and say, see, I told you the truth.
I showed you the message a while back where the wife said she didn't want to talk to you. He said he didn't want to talk to you.
So what?
This is the same kind of scenario you're in.
Dude,
right now.
that doesn't
if you
mean
even smile at Smokey, suddenly you're a fucking Nazi. You know how this goes.
Actually,
yeah, pretty much.
Wait a minute. Okay, Mr. Beckel, you must have a mind of some reason, right?
Of some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, Beckel. So I'm going to accept that you have a mind of reason. Okay?
Yeah, I do.
Because they don't like me, considering how them, they and I, how we got along or didn't get along, considering that and the way I treated them, the way they treated others, whatever, I think it's truly obviously understandable they wouldn't like me, right? Now, does that have anything to do with Brett's initial accusation that I attacked the wife for being a lesbian and such and this and that? No. What do you think, Beckel?
Well, my concern is what did Brett do that was so bad that you needed to hold this grudge for over him for 10 years?
You haven't figured that out yet?
Well,
What
I
have I
haven't
been
figured
telling
it
No,
out.
I haven't.
Tell us, Bruce. Tell us, 'cause I ain't
You
figured
brought
it
up
out.
the issue of that couple, so Brett talked about that couple and what their issue was,
No.
and the issue was with you.
Brett.
But what does Brett got to do with it? Like, what did
Veckel,
Brett
have
say
you
that
ever
was?
heard me, Veckel and Jill, and all the times that you've ever talked to me and stuff with Bruce isn't in the room? Do I even bother bringing him up? Have you heard the words "yoke up" even come out of my neck unless he brings it up? Come on,
Right.
man.
Let me figure this out. Okay, Brett. So
As
Brett,
long as I've known Brett, Brett's usually pretty laid back type of guy. He might have
Really?
some people might
Oh,
have
yeah.
some beef with him, man, but I don't see him going on campaigns
What
such
am
as
I
what I
doing
see
here?
the GNG
thought-
streaming do.
Okay.
You know, or the Praise the
You
I
know-
Am channel do. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I understand, Veckel, that I know you disagree with some of the free gracers, but you going after that free gracer's wife and giving her all that shit and calling her a lesbian and a whore and a bitch and a slut and everything, I think that was wrong of you, Veckel. Why did you do that?
I see what you're doing. You're doing some,
Holy shit!
Well,
did you do
hold
all that?
on.
'Cause I
Wait a
didn't
minute.
do
Are
that.
you saying you don't like this? Is that on?
I see what
I
you're
did wrong.
I see what you're trying to
That's
do. I see what
right,
you're trying to
and what
do.
I just
It
did
doesn't.
would be wrong.
Veckel,
wouldn't
you
it?
heard my response. Not once did I say anything about whore, bitch, or any words like that. The
Oh,
woman is offended
goodness
by
gracious.
Bruce and just doesn't want to be in the same
Okay,
proximity
I
as him.
apologize. I
Right, Bruce,
apologize. All right, wait,
address
wait,
that.
Veckel, let
Okay,
me
great.
fix it. Let me fix it. Okay, Veckel, I know you didn't say all that. All you did was
Right.
said that the lady is a lesbian. You gave her a whole raft of shit because her.
Do you have any
husband-
receipts for that
Free
claim?
Wait, what lady? Who are you talking about?
What are your
Wait, I'm
receipts,
just-
Bruce? Don't even entertain it unless he can show
We
receipts.
don't need receipts.
Do you have
All I need
receipts?
to- No.
Brett
I'm
denies it.
practicing. I am
denies
practicing.
saying it.
Now,
He
Bruce,
denies saying it.
Are you doing
So
some sort of
unless you
weird
have
analogy?
Receipts,
I'm
unless you have
practicing
receipts,
being a
shut up.
true Christian. I am practicing being a true Christian.
Let's move on to something else, please.
I didn't even
I
mention
don't want to
that she
entertain this
was a.
garbage all night.
Sorry,
It's
I was.
aggravating
Okay, I'm
anyway.
gonna die.
Jill,
That
no
is
offense,
one
but
in
I
the
never
name of
even
Jesus.
mentioned her being a lesbian. That's
Yeah, I'm
you
sure he's
doing
making
that.
it up, like he makes up all of the
You
lies
did
that
mention
the
her,
accusations
you
he
did that. You
thrust
did.
upon
Did anybody in
everyone.
here hear me say anybody was a fucking lesbian?
Yes,
No.
you did.
No, not even once. Gosh.
3 years
You don't have
ago,
any
you did.
receipts for that claim, so we don't
3
really
years
care to entertain it.
ago that she was a
So,
former lesbian.
Why
you
don't we
brought that
turn
up,
to some scripture
and
about
basement dweller
being a
reasons
Christian?
brought it up.
Why don't we turn to some scripture about being a Christian, like
Okay, well,
Matthew 6?
G lady's in the side
Matthew
chat.
6,
Ask G lady.
Matthew-
Let's see how the line works.
Matthew
Let's
18.
G Lady is in the house. What's going
That's
on,
great.
G Lady? Hey,
No,
let's see ya.
Let's
Now
turn to
watch
Matthew
this.
18. Let's read about
You're
what God says about
afraid. You're
forgiveness.
afraid. Okay, let's
what it
see
means
what
to be a
line
Christian.
does.
What it means to be an
Come on,
actual
let's
Christian.
take control of this.
Not
Let's
to make up
see
accusations
how-
about someone from
Let's
10
see
years
how
ago
lying works. Let's see how lying
and
works.
have no receipts to show that accusation is
Bruce,
true.
I am-
but
I'm
yet,
making crap up with that.
I am
Going
even
on
more
and on and
convinced,
on
Bruce,
about
that you feed off the drama, man.
Okay,
You do,
well,
you do.
fine. We got drama. So
Yeah.
let's see how well the
It does
line-
make a stream a little bit more interesting.
let's see
to
how
some
well
degree,
you can
man.
show the receipts for that lie.
Okay, I have receipts for this
Let's
one,
see how
okay?
well you can do that.
What lie?
That's
What
what we'll
lie?
wait for. Until then,
Jill,
we can care less
Jill,
to entertain
Jill, what are you
your
talking about?
drama-filled-
Tell me what you're talking about instead of just
pack-filled
yammering.
sitcom.
Bruce, you're
Jill,
lying.
explain.
You're a sitcom,
Jill.
drama-filled sitcom. Only you last for 3 hours, not a half hour.
Tell Jill to explain what the lie was.
Yeah, that was an awesome bass line right there.
Oh yeah. Here comes Bruce. Now he's gonna whip out his guitar.
Okay, so
See, now
Jill,
that's the Bruce. That's the Bruce that I like. I would like to see him come in here and just jamming up with some guitar instead
want
of going
to
over there
know-
talking about everybody.
I want to know the lie that Jill is talking about and he wants receipts for. What are you even
It's
talking
not a
about?
lie, dummy. That's me calling for proof of your claim. That's not a
Jill,
lie.
what are you talking about? Receipts for
How's
what?
that a lie?
They claimed
For
that
the
I was going
for the
around calling
claim
somebody
that
a
he
lie.
called this woman a whore.
Veckel,
Where's
if you
your
haven't
receipts for
noticed
that?
yet, oh my gosh.
How is that a
Veckel,
lie to call
come on,
you to
didn't I
provide
say
receipts for what you're claiming? That's a
I
lie.
trusted Veckel
You don't know what
to
a lie is. You
understand.
lie so
But
much.
Bruce,
you don't
you
even know
you
what
are
a lie is
actually
anymore.
claiming. Wait. Bruce wasn't actually saying that that's what I've done, right? You're kind of using some sort of
Right, he's
analogy,
trying
right?
to claim Brett did it, so show receipts that Brett did it, or else
Oh
we don't
my
want to hear it.
And that's what we're
We don't want to
asking,
hear
bro.
it. We don't
That's what we're
believe
asking,
you,
Bruce.
Bruce.
Right.
We do not believe you. Based on your reputation, you need to show receipts for everything you claim from now on.
Okay, all right, okay, fine.
Show receipts.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, because all we've heard Brett say is that these people did not like you. That's it.
Let's just get down to okay.
Let's get down to the receipts. Otherwise, we don't care to hear your accusation.
We'll go to the next one. Brett, did you accuse me of going after Yokup's wife? Attacking her?
I told you that according to their own words, they're offended and do not want
Oh
to
my
talk to you.
God, your story sure has mellowed out, hasn't it? Because you're busted.
This is what I've been saying
All right.
over and over, Vecco. You
Oh,
heard
you're
me,
a
right?
damn liar.
Yeah, that's what.
Knock it off.
That's what you're
Am I
saying.
on crack cocaine? Am I missing something here?
So, Bruce, is he wrong? And do you have the receipts?
He's a liar. Okay, all right.
Where's the receipt?
So let's go now to basement dweller. Did
he say this?
What are you
Did he say
doing?
this? Now he's going to jump to some other
Well, I have the receipt
unsuspected
right here.
Christian.
Yeah,
Did he
but
say
you
this on
finish
your
addressing
channel,
it.
or was it on his channel?
Get this now. Where
We're trying to
did
get
Basement
receipts
Dweller
before you
get
jump
the
to accusing
information
another
other
brethren.
than
Let's
you,
get
Brett?
receipts for this. Did he say it on your channel or on his channel?
Basement dweller?
No, sir. Instead of jumping to another Christian who you want to falsely accuse, because we know who your father is, who's been doing that from the beginning. Let's show receipts for what you claimed about Brett. Did he say this? Did he say this on your channel or was it on his channel?
It was on his channel.
It was on his channel. Okay, well let's look and see about how many months ago, how many years ago was this? Brett, you still have your videos up.
Smokey was still around at the given time, so it was probably what, like 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Okay,
Like it was towards the end when
all right, so here's what I do. I go back to Brett's channel and look for the videos 3 years ago and find the video and come back with those receipts.
Did we have this argument about 3 years ago, Brett? Do you remember it?
You've
And you
been
still
bringing
haven't
the
used
shit up
receipts
over and over, and you've got your own version of
I had
reality.
no
I'm sorry
reason
to
to
say.
bring it up until you brought it up. So quit bullshitting.
You know what I realized here? That if you had any evidence of this, it would be all over Bill's channel and everybody else's channel. And you guys would be screaming that shit to
Exactly.
Everybody would, yeah.
Shit about
They act like they care about women and children.
That's the whole point, dude. You're just a liar, Brett. That's all.
So you got a video clip? You got
You're
anything?
just
Phone
trying to
call,
back
maybe?
out of it now. So the whole point now that I'm gonna go to move it to Basement Dweller, who's presently doing it, you guys don't want to hear about it, right?
No, we don't want to hear about any more lies.
Not really.
So lying is okay with you, right?
Lucifer,
Lying is okay.
son of the morning.
See what I mean? Lying is okay with you. Lying's okay with Jill.
Lucifer.
How do you guys claim to be Christians when you stand up for lies? Why?
No, you're the one that's lying. We're standing up for the.
I know.
We're not standing
Bruce,
up for
we're the
lies.
one challenging you to provide receipts. We're not standing up for lies. Okay, we're
You have
asking
to
you.
prove your case. This is
If you-
America, not
if you
China.
can, if you can prove to us that your position, what you say is true, and we deny it, then we are defending lies. But you haven't supported
You know
it.
what?
You stated
Okay,
so.
what if I were to go back in your videos when I first started talking with Brett and the story got changed from then till now? What if that happened? That's possible, isn't it?
And we can blame it on the Mandela effect then.
No,
It's
I
probably
think-
Mandela effect. You're talking to a totally different version of Brett Keane, so let's change the topic and move on.
I'm
You know
kidding
what?
about
Maybe I will do
Sure.
that. If you don't mind, I'll go back, look at your videos then, and see what happened.
Go ahead.
We'll see.
I'll tell you what. I bet everybody in here $100 Bruce ain't gonna find shit. You know why? Because it never happened.
Because you never accused me of attacking Okup's wife.
You guys got PayPal and Cash App? $100 each.
Is that right, Brett?
That's
Anyhow,
not
$100 each.
I don't know, Bruce, man. Brett sounds awfully confident
not
in
playing.
dishing out that $100. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
right,
mind taking a couple of $100 for me. Superman's
And-
getting ready to come out this week.
So you think Basement
Get some
Dweller
popcorn.
truth?
Yeah.
Think Ryan's telling the truth? You really do believe that, don't you?
Ryan's telling the truth about what?
Everything. You don't think he's lying like hell about a whole bunch of stuff?
Like what? Give me an example of what he's lying about.
What about the idea that I doxed myself?
Okay, here's what I thought I heard him say. He said that video of you on a unicycle already had nothing blurred out prior to you telling people that it was blurred out.
Well, if the video he has and the video I uploaded from the very beginning had it blurred out, you know he's a damn liar, don't you?
That's probably why he doesn't want to talk to you about it, because he's probably pointed this out to you multiple times and you still keep denying it.
I keep denying what?
The fact that that video with the blurred out, edited with the blurred edit, didn't have that at first.
Damn, you are a fucking liar too, aren't you, Beckel?
That's what he's
that's what bullshit. You know, you're all fucking liars.
I'm telling you what he said to me.
You know what, dude? I give up. I totally give up.
Oh, gosh.
Well, there you go, folks. I think I should get paid $100 for proving these bullshit. That's what I think. Everybody in chat, my cash app is in my description.
you should get some sort of compensation to have to deal with that garbage, man. My gosh.
And you know what? You know what's sad about it? People were goofy back then, like they are nowadays, where people would be silly and mock each other and all that. I didn't care then. I don't care now. The only thing is, he wanted to talk to the guy, and I said, "Look, guy doesn't want to talk to you. Neither does his wife, and he just can't put that out of his mind. What am I supposed to do? Use telepathic X-Men abilities and just draw him into the damn room?"
Yeah, this is what Bruce reminds me of every time I see him pop up into somebody's dream.
I contemplated suicide. It got really bad. It's horrifying. I'm so sorry. It's overwhelming. It's really hard.
That's rough.
That's what I think of. That's what I think of Bruce every time he comes into a room. It's the world's smallest violin right there, folks. But anyway.
Can I offer a suggestion too? I've heard a little bit about what you guys were talking about earlier about the Ryan thing. And some advice, folks. If you don't want people to see where you live, don't take pictures of yourself in your fucking house. That's crazy.
Here's my understanding. I think that video that he's talking about was already available somewhere else, and it was unedited without the blurred content. And then I think Ryan got access to it somehow. It was public access at first, and then Ryan made it known to the public that this is publicly accessible. And then when Bruce saw Ryan talk about that, then he accused Ryan of doxing him, and then he went back and then blurred out that content that was in that video. At least that's my understanding. Now, Bruce might be here and say that I got it all wrong. He'll accuse me of lying. I'm just simply reiterating what I believe I've heard from both sides.
He'll come back in and tell you got it wrong. He'll surely come back in.
So if we say dox 3 times, he might reappear. But I know Brett is he's strongly against that right now. So, but and I don't mind. I don't blame you. But everybody who knows Bruce, this is what he's known for. He's constantly whining and complaining. Just like Bill does in every one of his streams as of late. I'll be right back, guys. I'm being summoned by my little one. Be right back.
To be fair, Jill, the only thing that's really irritating about any of this for me is I enjoy coming into Beckel's room and hearing what he's got to say, his perspective on theology, philosophy, and the entertainment value, because he's a funny guy. I don't want somebody coming in and just like taking over the damn show and whining for hours when I came here for, the friendship of Beckel or yourself there, Jill. I hope that makes sense to people out there. I just don't want to hear somebody take over.
Yeah, especially whining and complaining about something that allegedly happened 10 years ago. I mean, God, get over it. I mean, he went on and on and on about hanging out with people who claim to be Christians, and yet they behave contrary to what the Word of God says. But here this guy is ignoring Matthew 6, ignoring Matthew 18, where it talks about forgiveness. So maybe he's not a Christian. Maybe you're not a Christian, Bruce. Bear with one another. Forgive any complaint you may have against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, Colossians 3. Maybe you're not the Christian, Bruce, because you can't seem to do it. You, Bill, can't seem to do it. You
You
can't
guys
do
did
it. You
hear
just
me,
can't.
though.
You're like a special ed kid. You can't do it. You don't have the capacity to do it. Perhaps you're not saved.
You did
Perhaps
hear
your
me,
heart is
though,
not
Jill,
pure.
as well as Zuckle, even though it was hard hearing me over Bruce's nonsense. I said I'm willing to forgive and forget. I was willing to go through with it, even though I don't feel like I'm in some kind of wrong because this is his own made-up story. I'm willing to shake hands and say, fuck it, let's move on. But he wasn't willing to do it. You heard.
All right. Your brother sins, rebuke him. If he repents, forgive him. Even if he sins against you 7 times a day and 7 times returns and says, I repent, you must forgive him. Luke 17. What happened, Bruce? I thought you were a Christian.
I'm back. Real quick, is this Radio Sphere? Is this Bruce, one of his accounts, or is this somebody else?
I told you he'd be back.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it
because
might be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it might be because I've seen that same name posting a bunch of comments calling me a liar under that same name.
Yeah, that's him 3 years ago.
So that is okay.
3 years ago, Jill. Night.
Yeah,
because
I
3
would-
years, not 10. Okay, gotcha.
I would definitely be okay. Whether it's Bruce or not, it doesn't matter who it is to me. I definitely want to make a response to this comment like this. It absolutely fascinates me. You got individuals in this community who are at the center of drama, at the center of strife. And whenever somebody responds to the drama or the strife that they start up or participate in, even, right, they then want to turn around and lift up the persecution card or the victim card and try to make it look like they're the ones with the moral high ground, and start calling everybody, you guys are not acting like children of God and stuff like that. But yet, all you got to do is go to either Praise's channel or Dude's channel or Bill's channel. And what are they talking about? Most of the time, they're talking about the same thing that they're accusing us of doing, strife, all this other stuff. Real men of God, right? But yet they're over there talking all this sugar smack about everybody else. Okay. Yeah, sure. They'll start off by talking about scripture and everything, but then it eventually deviates into, just a mess. And the reason why you'll never see guys like, you hardly ever see guys like me or Smokey or Ryan or Dave appear on their channels is because, they, well, for whatever reason, but I think most of the reason is because they've blocked us, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I'm blocked on Praise's channel, but when I do leave comments on his channel, his sycophants like to disappear my comments all of a sudden. Especially, and I want to put a special shout out to an individual named Michael 1611. I don't know if he's somebody's sock account or not, but you're a coward. So if you ever want to have a debate with me, come on in, holla at your boy. I'll talk to you.
The way you described it earlier, Veckel, it sounds like a controlling bully, doesn't it? The bully doesn't leave you alone, won't stop, no matter how you try to rationalize. They keep pushing and pushing. And then finally you give them the people's elbow. And they're like, oh, what'd you go and do that for? So exactly, yeah.
Yeah, my wife, sometimes when we get into heated arguments, she would actually try to pull stuff like that on me, and it would just kind of get me upset. We'll be arguing, she'll be nagging or something, whatever. It doesn't matter who started the argument. And we'll start, she'll say something really stark, really strong and snarky, and then I'll respond by maybe lifting my voice a little bit. She'll lift her voice a little bit. Then I lift my voice even more. She lifts her voice even more. And then next,
wait a minute. She did what?
She raised her voice.
You better let her know who you are.
Yeah. Don't be fooled, folks. Yeah, she's Korean, but she's not your traditional Korean man. So she ain't your traditional Asian woman. So, but then when I start showing that I'm really frustrated with her, then she calms down and makes it seem like I'm the crazy one. Like, what? Why are you yelling? I'm perfectly calm. So what are you doing? You are just yelling at me. Now when I'm yelling back at you, all of a sudden you want to act calm and make it seem like I'm I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you getting all irate. You know, and that's what these guys do. It's called gaslighting. That's exactly what these guys do. They want to keep poking at you, keep talking about you day and night, accuse you of endorsing pedophilia, accuse you of being a pedophile, and then when you respond, they want to lift up the persecution card. They want to lift up the holy card and say, you'll say the reason why they're attacking us is because we're representing the children of God. We're representing, you know, God. You know, so it's the devils that's attacking us, even though they're the ones poking the bear all the time. You know, so thankfully, people in my audience, and Smokey's audience, and Dave's audience, you know, can see through this garbage. We can see right through it. We have a lot more intelligent people on our side than they do on theirs. You know, so
true.
Yeah.
Beckel, I got to ask you on a more serious note, getting away from Bruce for a little bit.
Yeah, let's do
Has
that.
things been okay for you? Because I've noticed last few times I've come in, you've been mentioning some of these tense scenarios you found yourself in on a personal level. Are you okay?
Wait, what scenario?
Well, you bring up some of the issues on the wife thing, and I was just asking, are things okay in that area?
Oh yeah. In fact, I did a stream. The last stream we talked about Ephesians 4:26. You know, we sometimes get into some really passionate arguments, but again, because of our Christian values and our allegiance to Christ, we always end the day on a Ephesians 4:26 note. This is the cornerstone, as I've said in the previous stream, of our marriage when it comes to reconciliation. So, for example, if you look at Ephesians 4:26, I should be able to see it on the screen. But for those of you who are not looking on your screen, I'll read it out to you. It says, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." So you got two things here. Number one, it's okay to be angry, but don't sin while being angry. And number two, don't hold a grudge. Don't let that anger carry on to the next day and to the next day and to the next day. Bruce, hello, Bruce. But anyway,
how many moons have gone down since this happened?
Yeah,
how many suns have gone down since this incident, Bruce? And you're still holding on. And then verse 32, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Beckel, I just want to let you know, even though you're saying things are cool, if there is more to this, if I'm sure Jill would be open to it, talk to somebody you trust, and even me, if you feel like you need to talk behind the scenes or something going on. I just was worried. It just sounded like things were getting kind of rough for you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. Maybe you and I can have a private hangout with just the beloveds, and you could give me some biblical counsel. But anyway. I
wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about just being an ear, man. Sometimes just listening to somebody helps.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is something we go through every once in a while, where sometimes we're just in a sour mood, and we get into some serious arguments where we're just literally yelling at each other and stuff. But it never gets to a point where I'm about to strangle her or body slam or anything like that. But it does get, it has gotten in the past. We've had some episodes where we're kind of, screaming at each other and stuff like that. But again, as I said, we this coming August, next month, will be our 19th year in marriage. And again, if this was more serious, we would have been divorced by now a long time ago. But again, because of our allegiance to Christ, we both worship Christ, we worship God, and we go by His word as our foundation for morality and marital counsel. And so, speaking of which,
on the 19 years, man, good man.
I'll be right back. I got to answer the door. Be right back.
All right, it's probably a Mormon. Greatest conversations ever.
I love when Mormons come around. They don't like me too much, but I love when they
I like talking to him about the planets and the Kolob thing.
Oh, yeah. Fascinating.
So you like having discussions with them? I made a mistake when I first met the group because I didn't know they had caffeine issues and all that. I offered them coffee, and it was also snowing outside. So I was like, "You want to come in, have a hot drink and all that, and sit down there?" Like, "Oh, we don't do that." And I'm like, "What you mean you don't do that? Are you allergic or something?" And then they explained it to me. I was like, "Oh, I apologize. I didn't know that was the case."
Yeah. I think they told everyone to skip my door over the years. I think
skip the door.
Yeah, they don't come around. I see them knocking on doors, nearby, but I don't see them. They won't come to my house anymore.
You weren't mean to them, were you, Jill?
No, I just told them the truth. I guess they marked and avoided me. Same thing with the Jehovah's Witness too.
Yeah, we don't have it as much, but boy, it seemed like it was like every week they were wanting to come by and have a conversation. Sometimes talk on the porch, but if it was snowing or if it was super hot, I'd always be like, "You want to come in?" Because I don't mind listening to folks and also sowing some seeds myself if I had the opportunity. But I got to be careful. There's some Goonies out there, you know what I mean? Can't have somebody walking up claiming to be a Mormon turn out to be something else, you know what I mean?
Oh, there's only one group that has those shirts that don't have a crease in them or a wrinkle. There's only one group that can accomplish that, and that's the Mormon Church. So you see those white shirts with the little tags, the name tags on it, that's the Mormon Church. And
I had a weird scenario happen to me about a year ago, Jill. I don't know if you heard about it or seen my video on it, but about a year ago, I was taking a nap and all that, and my daughter comes in and says, "Daddy, somebody's at the door." So I go open the door, and there's a woman out there. Well, she was a younger woman, and she was almost half naked, and it was freezing cold outside. And I opened up the door a little bit, and I said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And she just kept walking back and forth and like incoherently speaking. So I figured she was probably traumatized or something. So I went and I grabbed a blanket and I threw it to her and I said, "Cover yourself." And she didn't seem like she was understanding fully what I was saying. I ended up calling the police and the police come up, but it was just so weird having this like almost half naked woman standing there, and she just looked completely incoherent. Cops came and got her and put her in her vehicle and took her to wherever. I did end up calling later and asking if she made it to wherever she needed to go, and they said, "Oh yeah, she's all right," and all that. She was just cold. Yeah, weird stuff for sure. What were you gonna say?
She might have been an angel.
An angel?
Yeah.
You think an angel come visit my house out in the woods?
Yeah, to see how you would treat the person.
Well, I'm not going to let somebody freeze to death or get cold and all that. My wife tells me I put my heart on my shoulder and stuff. There has been times where I try to help people and then something mean happens to me. So could have been. She wasn't like some kind of scary looking person. It's just, it was odd. It was weird. What's going on kind of thing.
What's that passage in Hebrews that says that we may entertain angels unawares?
Yeah.
I want to say that's verse 12. I mean, chapter 12, but I could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe I don't know where exactly it is, but yeah, what you guys were saying, it reminded me of some situations. A situation where I went to Canada for the first time and never been there. Didn't, this was before the advent of YouTube. So, and Facebook. So nobody knew who I was, but somehow this guy who I'd never met before in Toronto, I walked right by him. He's looking straight at me and he just called me by name and said, "Hey, what's happening?" And I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" I'm looking around because I was with a group of guys. I thought maybe he's talking with them. But the guy I was walking with was looking at me, looking back at the guy, looks back at me, and he says, "I thought you said you never been to Toronto before." I said, "Nah, this is my first time." I look back, and as I'm still walking away, I'm still looking back, and the guy in the distance is still looking at me straight in the eye, big old smile on his face, and calls my name again and says, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "What the heck is going on? This guy is calling my name. I've never met the guy before, And the guy who was walking with me is like, man, that is freaky, man. How is this guy, knows who you are? He calls you by your name, yet you've never met him before. You've never even been in this country before. And
He
yet
recognizes your face from the cartoon.
No, this is before internet. This is before YouTube. This is before Facebook.
Well,
so there's no way
I wouldn't know what to tell you.
There's no way that this guy would have known who I was. Say it again.
Mandela. Mandela effect.
Joe, I don't know if you heard this. I know I told Zekel, but I'm actually responsible for the Mandela effect.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, I apologize, folks. I didn't mean to get him hooked on that like crack.
No, that's okay, because I believe false doctrine, God allows it, every wind of doctrine to blow.
Well, I never said when I spoke of it, I only talked about it because it was a conversation that was trending on YouTube. I made it clear in my videos that I did not subscribe to it. My goodness, man, what are you trying to hypnotize me?
Look into my eyes, Brad.
Whoa.
Look
You
into
will
my
believe
eyes.
the Mandela.
Look into my eye, Brad. Okay.
See, I don't understand why Thick Shades gets mad at people over it either.
Exactly.
I explained to him that if he is in an altered universe, then the people of whatever reality he's a part of now, they're going to only believe what is objectively true in their universe. They won't know what the hell he's talking about. So to get mad at somebody for that, that's stupid. That's like going in the multiverse and getting pissed at the new Flash,
Yeah, I don't get it either, man. I don't understand why he gets upset whenever we grill him about giving us a little bit of a thorough explanation. We all know, most of us know what the Mandela effect is now because we've heard me mostly bringing it up and ridiculing Thick Shades about it. But when it comes to backing it up or with scripture, nobody knows where to go except for the video I used to criticize, to ridicule Thick Shades with. And for some of you who may not have seen that video, I came up with a video where you have the verses that Thick Shades provided, and then you'll see like the Mandela effect versions of those same verses, which I made up. I added some extra words in there to kind of, make fun of it. But I mean, he has these random verses here that just seem to have nothing to do with the quantum effect or things just changing by happenstance and making people believe false things. None of that. I mean, it's complete eisegesis on his part. Complete eisegesis. So just absolutely amazing.
You know what the origin story of it is, and why I even, besides it being a popular conversation, why I even took interest in it in the first place, right?
Right. Say that one more time.
Do you know why I even took interest, besides the fact that it was trending on YouTube for a while there and everybody was talking about it? The thing that got me to actually thinking about, wow, this is neat, let's talk about it. Well, it wasn't just because of the whole Baron stare and Star Wars said something different, like James Earl Jones. What got me was there were people out there who were actually claiming that they were convinced that they had had children or that they were married to someone, and then suddenly everybody doesn't know that person ever even existed. Like they'd have conversations like, I never even knew you were married. What? You have a kid? They were basically saying that people were going into non-existence, Feckle. And I had to make some videos about that kind of shit. That was crazy.
Well, here's one example of why people, one of the controversy when it comes to Christians believing in the quantum effect or AKA the Mandela effect. This is one of those verses that pops up that's in question. Isaiah 11:6, and the other one I think is in chapter 65. But it says, the wolf shall dwell with the lamb. So if you're talking to believers of the Mandela effect, they'll say, no, I'm pretty sure that it actually said the lion shall dwell with the lamb. And then somehow the devil changed it. But they don't have any means at all to prove that this ever said lion. They just don't.
Well, I have an explanation, on a really good one, why it is that people probably are convinced without a doubt for them in their own perspective that it was a lion. You know why?
Because of the pictures.
Yeah. There's so many images, so many posters and t-shirts Jesus is represented as a lion, God the lion, or the lamb, and all that kind of stuff. The lamb, obviously, the innocence, and then the lion being the king type of deal. I think they seen so many pictures that got muddled into their head and they didn't realize it. The verse is only telling you that things that were once opposed to each other are now going to find unison and harmony with each other. That's all it's trying to say, right? Am I correct?
Exactly. You know, and see, now here's the word lion here in the same verse. See, that could be another thing contributor to their false memory too. Maybe you see how even just looking on my screen, obviously it's going to look different on everybody else's screen, but you got the word lion directly underneath the word wolf here. You know, somebody could easily, take a quick glance at that and then, just misinterpret it and say, oh yeah, the lion shall dwell with the lamb. That's what it says. And I say 11:6, and we do that sometimes. We have false memories. We misremember or whatever you want to call it, things, and then we get corrected on it. But we never jump to this wacky conclusion that somebody changed it. I know I'm right, but somebody changed it. The devil changed it, or God changed it. It's sickening. It's sickening
look at this verse right here. Try Revelation 5:5-6.
Revelation 5.
I think that's it. The lion and the lamb both refer to Jesus Christ. He's both conquering the lion of the tribe of Judah and the lamb who was slain. Or is that? Yeah, I think that's
verse 6.
5:5-6.
And behold, and lo, a shout out to Mrs. Smokey, lo, right there you are. But anyway, and behold, and lo, in the midst of the throne of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood the lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are.
And
the
remember, there's a
and,
creature that looks kind of like a lion too, right?
Right. Yep, there's somewhere in there.
So there's so much of that kind of stuff going on. That's the possibility of why it happened. There was one thing that the Mandela effect did get me on, though. I could have swore that in the movie Silence of the Lambs that he said, do you remember the term where he goes, hello, was it Chlorel or something like that, her name?
Oh, yeah, that's another one that's brought up a lot. Yep.
Johnny.
Hello, Clarice. Yeah, but what actually did he say?
It's according to the actual movie in this reality, as Dick Shade would say it, he doesn't say anything. He's just standing there waiting for her to walk in. I could have swore, but there is in the
Me too. I could have swore he said that. Yeah.
Hello, Clarice, or you said it better.
See, here's one example of a thing that actually did happen, but I haven't seen the edited version. I've only seen the edited version for many, many decades. All right, the movie that came out in '87, Transformers, the movie, the animated film, not the 2007 film, Michael Bay film. I'm talking about
1981.
Was it 81?
It was Unicron, right?
Unicron.
That was 80.
Yeah. No, that's 82. Really? I thought it was 87.
I was a kid when I went to see that at the movie theater, dude. Man, that movie made me cry. Too many of my favorite damn robots got blew the hell up.
I know, man. Yeah, that was a life-changing film for me, man. But anyway,
86,
in that
86, you're right.
86. Okay,
yeah.
That movie when it came out, and man, gosh, I would love to have that theatrical experience again. It just doesn't work the same anymore.
I didn't see it in the theaters.
Oh, I saw it in theater, man. Especially, dude, when you live in New York City back in those days, back in the 80s, and you saw a movie, you went to a movie theater, man, it was wild. I mean, people were so interactive. Not that annoying, but it was still fun. I mean, it was like you're in a live studio audience or something like that, man.
It's the greatest cartoon ever invented.
But yeah, anyway, there's a part where Unicron is sucking he's sucking the Cybertron in. It's breaking apart. It's becoming brittle, and then the parts of it are flying off of it and into the mouth of Unicron. And Spike and I think Bumblebee are inside a ship, and they too are getting sucked in. And he says, "Oh snap! What are we gonna do now?" So of course he says the other word, SHIT, right? Yes. And that was said in the actual movie, right? Now I've only seen the movie once in the theater.
Well, they take that. Sometimes they remake these movies and recast them. They change a lot. So that,
right. See, now I didn't see it on videotape until much later. And then I was looking for that scene, and I was getting into arguments with people. I said, "No, he actually swears in that shot. They cut it out." And they said, "No, I know he didn't." I said, "Yes, he did. I'm not crazy. I've seen it." And now, finally, decades later, I'm finally seeing it again. So it's back there
on the Blu-ray, the remastered Blu-ray. It actually has the scenes and shows it in its full director's cut the way it was meant to be. You should see it on Blu-ray. It's not going to have the 100% feeling of what it was like when we were kids, but it's pretty damn close to see it in 4, dimensions like that, HD. Why did I say dimensions? 4K. Sorry about that. 4K is just incredible.
4K. Man, I'll be looking forward to getting that hooked up soon.
I forgot to even bring this up with you, but you've got this huge series of animations going on. Have you? I know of a company that does CDs and Blu-rays and all that, and you don't have to pay for them. You could actually make it to where if people want it, a Blu-ray, they could buy it, and you'll make a profit off of it. It's something you're interested in.
Oh yeah, appreciate that. I'll definitely want to look into something like that in the future.
I can talk to you later about it if you're up for it.
Yeah, appreciate that. So Jill, I do kind of want to start wrapping things up too, because I do have to get up in the morning. But what we got on the screen here, Jill?
I just found this. This is from 8 years ago. This is the real Thick Shades, by the way. I don't know who this imposter is now, claiming to be Thick Shades, but this is not the real Thick Shades. This is the real Thick Shades. But this video, I'll put it in the side chat if you want to watch it. It actually goes into depth what Dickie was actually teaching, as opposed to what Christ taught. He was preaching a totally different gospel.
What does he mean by New Age philosophy? I don't get it.
Well, many New Agers will often use Christian terminology, and they just repackage it. That's the goal is to attract the Christian and to actually brainwash the Christian into thinking that what he's teaching and Christianity are one and the same. Basically, it's just New Age philosophy what he's teaching. That's why the Mandela effect becomes so natural to him.
I understand what New Age is. What I don't understand is the sentence that Jesus Christ was teaching.
Well, that's Thick Shades. That's what he believes.
But what's New Age philosophy about what Jesus said? Jesus is saying a lot of the things that we could find easily in the Old Testament. So what is it about? The compassion, the mercy, the love, the wrath that was all there.
Well, they have this belief that Christ taught what they call Christ consciousness, and that everyone can obtain the same Christ, quote unquote, consciousness that Christ had when he was on earth. So that's basically one of their teachings, and of course they suggest that this is in fact what Christ taught. So it's not about forgiveness of sins or repentance. It's about obtaining this sort of like a nirvana, what the enlightenment, right? What the Buddhists would call enlightenment. It's New Age metaphysics repackaged for Christians. That's really what Thick Shades was. I'm going to say was, because this Thick Shades now is not Thick Shades. I know that.
New Thick Shades is an AI director.
Yeah.
So you're convinced it's not Thick Shades either, huh?
That is not Thick Shades. I am 100%, 99% certain that is not Thick Shades. We had another conversation today, and he was trying so hard to sound like the Thick Shades, but me and this guy have gone back and forth in the comment section, and this new Thick Shades can't even compare to the real one. He or she is trying awfully hard. I give him that, but I know that's not Thick Shades. I know for a fact.
Man, I don't know if I'm convinced of that, but man, you guys seem to be like really, really convinced that this is somebody else. Well, what about the conversations he has in real time? I mean, with people.
I never seen any of them. Where are these conversations he's had?
Like he's been popping up on Bill's channel lately.
No, come on, man. Are you serious? Have you listened to those interactions?
Yeah, he sounds like the same guy from
man, that
2
is
years
clearly
ago.
AI. There's a delay for one. You could see that it's not a natural conversation. There's a bit of a delay when Vicky, quote unquote, Vicky speaks. You can clearly see it's AI. AI is the technology has really grown tremendously.
Yeah.
From to even
But
5 years ago.
I don't think those guys have that far advanced material.
It's not even advanced. I can tell it's AI. You can tell it's AI. There's no cutting off. In a normal, natural conversation, you will see what happens in our conversations. You watch that again very closely. You'll see that this clearly AI responding and to what is being said to him, and there's a bit of a delay, a processing of the information before you hear the answer.
Yeah, Veckel, there's things out there called voice synthesizers where you could sound like Donald Trump if you wanted, and you could actually just sit down with the program, read off a paragraph, and then it'll analyze your voice, and then you could do your own voice if you want, or somebody else's. You can also do it with something called Elven Labs. The reason I don't do that, the only way I'm going to do it is if I make it clear that I'm doing parody, like I got Donald Trump saying he loves my show. But everybody knows that's just goofy.
I want to do that too. Yeah.
But the thing that's annoying me about these folks is they're making it out to look like it's something serious. They're literally trying to warp people's personalities and their voice in their videos.
Yeah, I noticed lately on Thicky's channel that he hasn't been doing those deep fake videos anymore. So now he's got either still images of our faces and then with our voices over it, or he's just showing completely different images with our voices still over it. But he hasn't done the deep fakes anymore.
It's Bill.
I noticed.
It's Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed. It seems like it would be Bill, because Bill hasn't been making a lot of videos on his channel lately, except for doing these very, very short streams on his channel, and then doing these private hangouts.
Like, what is the purpose of doing this? This man,
because he's not of God. I would say the man is not of God. I think the man is sick. The man constantly talks about Smokey all the time instead of leaving it alone. You know,
another one who can't forgive.
Dude, I listened to his stream, a little bit of his stream earlier today. The guy immediately starts off talking about Smokey and Ryan, and he does this for at least 35 minutes.
Oh my God.
Right? I step away, I come back, he's got people in the room, and they're still talking about the same thing. Now, why is that significant? It's really significant because he won't allow anybody else in his room except for his so-called beloveds. And when you do that, when you have that short of a circle of people that you hang out with, you run out of stuff to talk about. You don't want to talk about movies. You don't want to talk about politics. You know, everything else is boring to you. You don't want to talk about anything else except for your problem with some of the Smokes and the Ryans and the Veckles and all these other people. You know, that's the problem. Yeah, Calvinism, you know, that kind of thing. You know, that's all these guys talk about. That's why their streams are going to be always so short. And if they are longer than 2 hours, it's going to be nothing but the same old regurgitated hatred out of their mouths over and over again. So
it's like an obsessed British golem. My process, my blah, 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 blah.
This is an actual video. You want me to play this a little bit?
Oh, yeah, a little bit, because I got to wrap it up. Yeah.
Well, what happened?
What happened?
This person is claiming that he is really of the Baha'i faith.
Oh, wow.
Like a Buddhist type of. I mean, it makes sense. He is from Wuhan, right? It's Uncle Sam.
Right.
I love you 24 hours.
Oh, so there's nobody speaking in this video. It's just images of the text.
that really him? Is that a fake? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just.
Wait, whose video is this?
This is somebody called I forgot their name, but I'll put it in the side chat for you.
And they were exposing Thick Shades and his Mandela effect beliefs.
This is from 8 years ago.
Yep, and he still espouses
This is the real Thick Shades. You see how he always starts his why you stupid? Why you falsely accused? He always starts now. Bill, if you're listening, if you want to be thicky, please follow this pattern when you're sending messages, comments. This is how thicky responds. Why you stupid? Why? Why stupid? Why?
Why stupid? Why? You say you are Christian, yet rather than wishing them heaven, you curse them with hell. Yeah,
it's hard for me to get mad at him because he doesn't have the same like tone to his voice, but every time I listen to him, it sounds like Yoda. I can't get mad at him. I'm just like, wow.
We got Mac in the house. What's going on, Mac? Ryan says he's got a video he wants me to check out. He said go from 120 to 125 to 130. All right, I'll we'll take a peek at this real quick. And then we're
Panda's coming up.
Is this on Rumble?
All right, obviously, we got a commercial. So for those of you who are familiar with
I could get you.
Rumble, we just got those commercials that pop up. Can you guys see that? Okay.
Looks like an interesting game.
Yeah. I tried it a little bit, but I got to sit down and learn the UI. Okay, let's go to 125. Learn about this beloved here. Okay, hold on. Let's blow up the screen. And you guys out there know what to do. Hook up our brother and let me know if y'all can't hear nothing. And away we go.
Yeah. I haven't installed it yet, but I did download a program ready to go soonish where I can do like the AI face manipulation. So I'm going to try that next, I reckon.
Wow. I'll tell you, you know what? I'll post on my community section a video that'll help you out if you want to do like live face swapping on video or on streams, or if you want to do videos where you swap faces like I'm doing. I found a real easy way to hook it up. It's actually a browser that you install that runs a server on your system. It's basically just like 3 clicks and you're ready to go.
Wow. Oh, right. Yeah, you have to, let us know about that one.
Yeah, I'll post it on the community section there, and you can just follow along. It's step by step. It's real easy.
Yeah, look, he leadeth me says.
I'm going to go now.
Are you going to go there?
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Take care.
See you later then. See you later then.
Bye.
We got Shep in the house. Are you actually going to be able to use your audio today, Shep? We can see you. We can see you there. We can't hear you yet.
Can't hear him.
But anyway, he leaves me, says, hands down, Ghosty Man is the epic in GY6 library.
Ghost Man. Ghosty Man. Well, thank you. I had a lot of inspiration for that one. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, real quick, before I continue this video, is it a possibility that this fake Thicky is GY6, this GY6 guy, or Bill? What do you guys think? What do you think?
I don't know. I heard a name mentioned Ghost Man though.
Never heard of Ghost Man, but
there is a YouTuber that goes in the rooms, and I am almost to the point where I'm 90% convinced the guy's playing games and all that. But what the guy does, he goes in the rooms and then he pretends as though he's messed up, like he's disabled or something. But some of the stuff I've seen him pull on people, I think it's he's playing a game for attention.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, I do see a lot of good ghosty man vids from G-Boy6, and even is it Reset Glitch? Reset Glitch is another one that does it. That's funny.
Resets, yeah.
Yeah, I like old Reset. He's a good old
Yeah,
boy or
yeah,
girl.
he
I don't
is.
know if he's a boy or a girl, but either way.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's because he uploaded a video once where he showed his hand and had a dollar bill in it. So, and that was a man hand.
A man.
So I'm sure
I think he's a man.
Man hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely a man hand there.
Yeah.
What was?
You know, despite my beef with Bill, I do like his accent. I have to say, it's so fun to mock.
But I'll have to get my I did literally download it. I've been so busy, you know, with family stuff and other bits and bobs.
Right.
That I haven't had time to experiment with that AI face manipulation thing I've got. But I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it. So we've got Shep in the background again, but no audio.
Oh, Shep's on it.
So I heard you got a new computer system, Bill?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. My old computer gave up the ghost.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah, they do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it years. Years. You know, I was upgrading to the point where you couldn't upgrade anymore.
What was Ryan hoping we were going to hear?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything other than them talking about the capability of this software that he has access to, but he hasn't used it yet. So I'll stop it there. I don't know what else.
You don't need AI in order to do face swap, and you can actually get face swap programs that don't even involve AI. I don't know why maybe they want to hide their faces when they're doing videos or something. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're up to something.
Basement says it is Bill.
So Bill reacts faster to a comment under his name by using Thicky to block, but then goes under Thicky's account since he has to relog in. I think there's a lot of room for speculation, man, but I don't know, man. I mean, because sometimes Jill and I get accused of being the same person, and I could see why. I mean, Jill hardly makes any appearances on my stream sometimes. Sometimes he'll just leave comments. So everybody can easily assume that, that's just Vekel. He's just got two computers, two keyboards, and he's pretending to be Jill, that kind of thing. Someone, I'm just simply saying, why couldn't anybody assume the same thing about Bill pretending to be Thick Shades, But it could also be that it just happens to be just by coincidence that Thick Shades is reacting in the same way that Bill. But it does look weird, though. I see less activity from Bill these days now that Thick Shades is back on the scene. So Basement Door says, "Wait a minute, Jill isn't Vekel." Despite the skin, well, actually, no one's ever actually seen what Jill looks like.
I believe,
but we all assume he's black.
I believe when he clicks on this link or my link.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I praise or Bill. Sorry, I just can't trust those sources for it.
We don't believe it.
I forget what the name was, but I think that Thick Shades might actually have another sock account. There was a post.
I'm sure he's got many of them. Yeah,
I did a post, and it's got an avatar on it. It has something like holy in it, and I had basically said, I have a difficult time believing Thick Shades because Thick Shades messes around with AI all the time. And, even though some of it might be true, it really sets off my spidey senses to see all that AI that's going on over there. Because I'm perfectly aware of what can be done with AI. You can do some really disruptive shit if you really wanted to. So when I see it, it makes me question.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But so what happened was I questioned it. And this guy just kept on going, no, Thick Shades would never do something like that. And it was the same pattern of writing and the way he normally acts. So it's like,
Daniel, what's going on? Where are you the same person, also known as True Salvation or something like that? I don't have anything personal against you, but I thought I did see a comment that you made on Praise's channel about me, maybe yesterday or the day before. I can't remember what the comment was, so obviously it wasn't that important to me, so I'm not going to hold it against you. But it was definitely, I don't know if this is the same person or not.
Is that the one with the accent, the deep
Daniel?
Southern? Yeah.
I don't know which Daniel this is.
Yeah, I think that's the one with the deep southern.
Okay, BD says Daniel is the Cornhusker from Smokey's channel.
Alaska.
Oh, okay. New name says no, it's a different person. Okay. All right. The guy named True Salvation who left a comment on Smokey's channel, I think the other day, and then appeared in he appears in Praise's channel regularly. That's the guy that I have an issue with, not this Daniel here. Okay. So obviously, Daniel, I would say no, I don't have any issue with you. If you did, it would be me responding to a video that you made about me or an outlandish claim that was made about me. You know, so those are the only people I really care to actually have responses to, you know, or actual beef with. If they're saying things that are just flat out untrue that I should address or need to address. But the rest of the people that got issues with me, I don't even bother addressing them because, you know, humans are retarded. That's what the scriptures say. Humans are retarded. And so because the humans are being retarded, I don't respond to every criticism of me or every attack towards me. You know, that's just the nature of the internet, my friends. We all know that. You've been dealing with the internet for at least 10 years. You have no room for acting like a little sissy like Bruce. You just got to remember that if you're going to deal with the internet, you got to have some thick skin. You got to have some thick skin. You know?
Yep.
That's just the way it is, man. You got to deal with it. You can't deal with it, get off the internet. Close your account. Bruce, get off the internet. Get off the internet, Bruce. See, like BD, he says Vecco wears lipstick. See, that's how you know it's not me.
He can't handle the heat.
If you see me wear lipstick, you know it's not me. But see, look, this is a retarded statement, right? I know this is not true. Everybody knows it's not true. So you can't get, you know, all offended because Basement Dweller said I wear, lipstick. I know he's joking around, but I'm just using that as an example. You got to get thick skin, folks. Got to get thick skins. Thick skin. Chris Keefe says thick skin to deal with thick shades. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Get over it, folks. That's right. Anyway, I'm going to use that to wrap it up. I am an hour and 30 minutes behind schedule. So it's back to work for me tomorrow. But any of you guys got any final thoughts or anything?
Nah. It was fun hanging out with you and Jill. Hopefully things will get straightened out or worked out. People start growing some brain cells or some shit.
Some brains and some skull and some spine. Yeah, that'd be good too. I appreciate that, Brett. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to touch on your posts that you did. Folks, go on ahead and subscribe to Brett's channel. You know, check him out. He's got some interesting content on his channel as well. And he doesn't open up an environment where you got to worry about walking on eggshells as well. So go on over there. Check him out, man. You know, known this guy for many, many years. And he's a good guy. He's good people. So check him out.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, I'm dropping out for you.
All right. Jill, what's going on? You got any last words? Jill, any final words?
Oh, no. Yeah. Thanks for having me on again. And I'll see you next time. God bless.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we'll get together in the future and we do some more of these political streams, man. So definitely want to pick your brain about it. Say it again.
I have a song for Bruce.
You do?
Yeah,
right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. Is it a link that we got to share? Hold on. I can't hear it. Let me turn down the music. I got.
Lucifer.
I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it? Oh, okay.
No. We heard something, but it just sounded like noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was the reggae.
What was the song?
That's actually a song, a reggae song.
Oh, what was the song? What were the lyrics?
Morning.
Huh?
Lucifer.
Son of the morning?
It's actually a reggae song.
Well, what was the name of the song?
Lucifer, Son of the Morning.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Now, of course, because I allowed you guys to thrash Bruce, we're not going to hear the end of it from him now. So now what he's going to do, he's going to run over to Praise's channel or to Dave's Dude's channel or Bill's channel, and he's going to whine and complain and go tell on us, do a little tattletale. And I don't know, I'm trying to be the right Christian, but these guys won't let me be a good Christian.
Jill kicked me out of the club.
Jill kicked me out.
Like, what the heck?
Yeah, man.
Something's seriously wrong with that man. Something's seriously wrong with that man's mind.
Yeah, that's right.
But all right, man. Nice chatting with you.
All right, man. It's good seeing you. Thank you for coming in. Yeah.
God bless.
But Obama is a long-legged back daddy.
That's right. All right. All right, folks. Well, that's it, man. I got to wrap this up. I'm way behind schedule. Back to work tomorrow. I'm going to be hurting, but that's okay. That's what you guys are for, the church. And well, at least for those of you who actually profess the name Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, hook me up with a little bit of prayer that I be full of vigor tomorrow for work, getting back to work, and that I'm safe. And yeah, that's about it. So appreciate you guys tuning in this long. And yeah, it's always a pleasure. So again, I'm paying for my StreamYard account now again, so I can get up to 10 people in a room in case you guys are bored out of your mind. The next time I do a stream, come on in. We could talk about some things. And even to the naysayers out there, the beloveds, you got problem with me. You want to talk about your Calvinism or the non-free graces or even the nonsense, come on in and we can talk about it. All right. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to end with my usual, what do you call it? What's those words? Anyway, I can't think of the word. But 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. And with that, I say, take care. God bless. See you later.